Everyone, welcome to Trader TV Live. Futures kind of red here to start the last trading day of the year. The NQ down 0.18 with the ES down 0.11. The Dow faring a bit better here in single digits, 0.06. Likewise with the Russell 2000, 0.05 in negative territory. Oil catching a bit of a bid here above $58, up 1/3% with nat gas absolutely getting clipped, 4.5% in the red. Gold up down 1 1/3. We'll talk about silver in a second. Bitcoin also continuing to trade within that high 80s, low 90s range, up about 1%. Good morning, Adara. What are some of the headlines?
Quite a few actually this morning. I mean, silver continues its game of gap up, then gap down. Today we are gapping down on SLV. Nvidia on watch here. Reportedly, according to Reuters, talking to TSM about upping that H200 production. So interesting look there. We have Donald Trump posting about Amazon, sharing an old post from November here on his Truth Social, which actually did lead to a bit of an aftermarket spike for AMZN. Speaking of posts on social media, Michael Burry saying that he is not short Tesla, though he did call it ridiculously overvalued. So a lot of, oddly enough, social media themed stories today. All
right, guys, not too many ups and downs to start the morning here, mostly in negative territory. Sean back for OB. Good morning, boys.
Oh boy. There we go. We'll get the mic on. Oh, what?
Wasn't even. I just turned it on and it turned off.
Oh, is the battery screwed? Yeah. Sean's mic has some battery issues, so it's already looking forward to next year. That's how we roll. No, there's not going to be a lot of crazy stories this morning. In 30 minutes, we'll get some initial jobless claims data. Final trading day of the year. Volumes aren't going to be what they were. I was telling Sharif, when I sit down in the morning, on my quote board, there's one name of the regulars that's over 1 million shares pre-market. Like Tesla usually does over 1 million pre-market by now. Nvidia is up there, but there's not much that has decent pre-market volume. A little bit on Neo, a little bit on Intel. Obviously, silver is going to be in play. So this is the kind of day where you don't want to overtrade when volumes are going to be low, and you want to look at what's moving. I know that means we talked a lot about silver yesterday. We're going to talk a lot about it and watch a lot of silver here today because that's just how it is. So, Nike, as I said, Nike looks like it's in play. Silver is going to obviously be in play as well. And yeah, it's one of those. It's a weird day. Like half of Europe actually has a half day today, so you'll have like a little bit of slowness because of that. And then for obvious reasons, like New Year's is such a universal thing that you have a lot of traders and a lot of people that just aren't participating in the afternoon. So a lot of movement tends to happen early. Like I don't know if you'll get the big volume spikes. Like silver would be a good example of it. You had multiple volume spikes throughout the day where there were clear times. Like, okay, in the morning it was a good long and then you could work that, and then it was afternoon, and then there was that move to the downside. So it was like 3 distinct moves. I don't know if you'll get that. Like there might be like that opening rush, and then things will be very different, maybe range-bound trading. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. Sean, your mic should be back.
Yeah, it's the battery pack.
Oh, I know. I looked over this the second I saw. I'm like, you have a battery issue, but I guess maybe Obi was using it all day yesterday.
What a guy.
But more importantly, how was the tournament?
Yeah, good. Yeah, it wasn't. Well, it was just it was like yeah, it was like a ID camp for
showcase.
Stuff like that. Yeah, showcase. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Yeah, the weather was pretty crazy there, but no, I don't think it was any different than here. It was windy. It was snow squally, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, thanks for asking. She did really well. We're hoping that she gets invites to different things off of this, right? So it was really good to see. And then they take the parents aside and they start already at this age they're talking about like the pathways and all of this kind of stuff. So it's very intimidating for all of that stuff. But you pay the money for these people, and it's just, what are you gonna do? But SLV, yeah, I don't know. I even put a tweet. I was like, what else are we gonna trade? Today.
Nike's
so,
up 2%.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned Nike's going to be good. We had that Tesla. I was looking at Tesla, maybe as a nice move down there. Maybe the market a little bit today as well. And then we'll talk a little bit about maybe what we think themes for next year. What we're looking for 2026. Amazing to say that. For 2026, we'll see if there's anything hot. We had that talk about quantum versus uranium. SMR, I think, was down again yesterday as some of these things keep going downside. Bitcoin today is what, 88 and change, trying to hold 80, almost 89. here for crypto. So that's going to be nice here. 88.7, 88.8, kicking out right there for BTC. So yeah, we'll have a quick look at all these things. And yeah, just, you know, Happy New Year to everybody there. It is a full day today, so that should be somewhat exciting. Oh man, I'll see if we can get to the gym on the midday there. We do have Obi coming through on the midday as well today.
Joe's still at the beach.
Yeah, when's that guy coming back? He'll be back on Monday. We should have everybody back on Monday, I think, including Brendo.
Yeah, Brendan's back. Well, Brendan's back for sure.
Joe, I believe, is back too. Why not?
Will I be back?
Like
Ramin potentially not coming back, she said.
what, Ramin?
But we do have Andre coming back apparently as well.
Uh-oh.
So we'll have a different switching situation going on there. And I heard it's someone's birthday coming up soon, so we'll have to find out who's exactly that is. And
Maybe.
We'll talk. It's not mine.
It's entirely possible.
You just had yours, by the way.
Oh, so that might be what you're thinking of. All right.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Nice try, Dara.
I was definitely thinking about Charlie Munger's birthday.
Clearly not who we're thinking about.
Tomorrow, but yeah, we'll discuss that. We'll leave it as suspense for now. And
Nobody knows.
It may be one of the four of us, not male, but one of those that you see on your screen right now. Okay, it's 8:06, and I don't know, 88,888 right here for silver. Oh, you know, I called up Tesla yesterday, and I was actually with one of my friends, and maybe it wasn't yesterday. Oh no, it was Meta. It was Meta. That's what it was. It was Meta.
666.
That's it. And no, but it was literally, I called it up and it was 666.61. Like I was randomly just sitting there watching nothing and just scrolling through the watch list. And I go, oh my God, Meta's like, you know, 2 or 5 cents away from 666. But yeah, I guess we gave that up. Meta had a nice day yesterday, though.
It spent a long time at 666 yesterday.
Yeah,
Like it barcoded off that level for pretty much 90% of the day.
Yeah,
it was within $1 of 6.
The high was 668 or something.
Kind of an ominous thing. I wonder.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see today. Yeah, it was just funny because it's like, you know. And then he made a joke like, "Oh, someone's going to push it to go to that." I was like, "No, if it's there, it'll be there for a second. Like these pennies aren't going to be like that." But
the real problem is every time it would try to go, it was failing at 667, which Obi wouldn't let go.
Oh, of course he wouldn't.
Yeah, I know. It's one of those. No, it's fine.
Kids these days.
Oh, the kids. Oh, the kids.
Newsfeed.
Oh, there's a good one. Brown Lightning in the chat.
Yeah.
Just said good morning. Good morning to you as well.
Yes.
You've got a couple symbols you're looking at. BBAI and Rigetti. So oddly enough.
BBAI was going down, I thought.
But BBAI is.
Oh, it's
okay, there's no actual catalyst on BBAI, but it's on my list just for one possibility. Is I just want, if we bounce off the 200 again, like if at the open, the first move is to hold the 200 period moving average, which is at 540, and it's right there right now, maybe like a quick like snap up trade. Like this is a binary one. Like it either is instantly breaking out and you're just looking for like a slow trend like or some kind of a trend like it did yesterday, but in the opposite direction, or nothing. And then I think you're on the right track. You want to look at.
Yeah, Rigetti's right there too on the daily chart.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're looking for things because if you're not going to find key volume or volume or catalyst, then you're going to want something which is at least transacting at a pretty key price. And as Sean just said, Rigetti also just sitting right on a support level. The difference is like BBAI has been bouncing right off it like the next day. Rigetti's been sitting down here for a few days. So it's almost like one's consolidating. The other one usually bounces after one day off of that 200 period and support. But yeah, I think you got the right idea. Like you're going to have to maybe search for different types of setups than normal because you might not have this, oh, this is being upgraded, it's gapping up, this has good news, it's gapping up and breaking out certain levels. You really don't have much of that today. Like I don't think there's a single clean breakout setup that I saw all morning on anything because nothing's really moving enough. It doesn't mean you can't trade. Like silver is a perfect example. You spend most of the day just having like multiple opportunities to trade silver. But you might have to go outside of the regular toolbox just a little bit. And with that, I see every time we go back to this shot, like, Sharif is just like
I have to review the notes, man. I don't get to actually review them.
You're so focused, Sharif. I love the focus. Tell us what you're looking at because now I'm curious.
Yeah, Sharif.
Second margin increase in the span of a week by the Chicago Mercantile Exchange on silver. as they try to dampen some speculative interest. Silver down again here to start the morning to the tune of 5 3/4%. We know tomorrow will be the first day that China is set to tighten export controls on silver, elevating the metal from an ordinary commodity to a strategic material. That places it more within the oversight of the Commerce Department, and they made comments to that effect this week. And they also placed restrictions on tungsten and antimony. China remains one of the world's largest silver producers and exporters, having shipped over 4,600 tons in the 11 months of this year. It's also critical, as we've spoken about, electronics, batteries, solar panels, medical devices, defense applications. It's so important that Elon Musk publicly criticized the move, and the European companies also expecting some tightness here, saying that they're already feeling it, Adara. So silver down 5 4/5.
I want to talk about this margin issue in particular. I mentioned this back on Monday, but I do think it bears repeating. One of the issues here with one of the more recent silver crashes, to be going back to 2011, is CME Group at that time had raised silver margins 5 times in a 9-day span. Now we have 2 raises in about a 3-day span, so just something worth noting. I think there was already some concerns back on Monday with that first margin increase. Now that we have the second, things get a little bit more, I don't want to say dicey, but I think of concern here for traders for this SLV.
Yeah, I think the idea that there's concern is real. Like, I think you wanted to see this hold a little bit more of the buyback gains from yesterday. And if you just look the pattern, I don't want to say it's going to do the exact same thing as it did on the 29th, 2 sessions ago, because you've obviously gapped down further. But if you simply look at the last 3 days, okay, look, you had, forget about this support here, but just sort of look at what happened at about like 68, and then it was trend up. And then look at yesterday, not as strong, but the same area where you had the buying come in, and it was kind of a good long, but not as good as it was 2 days ago. And now you're kind of gapped to where we were at the back end as well. So ignore some of the beginning and look at this like 66 to 67 area. And I don't wonder if, hey, just look at the pattern, should we not have trouble getting back above that? I was more than willing to be optimistic and looking longs if we had held some more of these gains. But a lot of that changed when we lost 70. And if you were watching the show in the afternoon yesterday, it was distinctly different. Like, the market was doing nothing, silver lost 70, and the acceleration was like nothing that it had done in the last couple of days to the downside. And then there was a little bit of some scalping shorts after that were pretty effective. So I'm leaning in the direction of the sell side here. Obviously, I think, obviously is the wrong way to say it, but there's clearly at least some people that are pretty offside still, and the effort to get the prices down, who knows? I don't want to tinfoil hat it or anything, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we can't go down in the interim. I think there'll be good opportunities to still buy some dips, but this went so far, so fast, and there seems to be an effort for some actual legit selling in here. So I see that 66 to 67 areas from 2 days ago as the easy spot to look for some shorts. And if it trends like yesterday, be willing to just stick with it. Like, when this held VWAP, it bounced like so many times off VWAP yesterday pretty cleanly. Like, you just wait for these little micro dips and then take those trades. So it did give you multiple chances, and it was the one place where, you could have been trading it all day and not really been over trading. That's pretty unique.
Yeah, I think you want to, especially on a day like today when things aren't, presenting themselves immediately, you want to look for those kind of opportunities. Gold is not, I just wanted to, Neil just touched on silver. I don't want to talk about the same thing over and over here, but yeah, this is the same kind of a thing where we started to head lower. There's the break there from 400 as well, right there at 3 o'clock, and that kind of gave it in, and it's not as volatile here, gold, but the trend seems to be pretty much the same way. And we know that silver is going to be that margin talk. We talked about, some of the banks, being offside here and how much further can they get squoze. Not very much further, I don't think, man. Banks, these big companies will always wind up winning. So, but there it is, 405 all the way back into 396. You're still nowhere near any form of worrisome opportunities here for gold if you're long. I think it's a buying opportunity if you get into this 384, 385 area. So for me, I want to stay long, as the monetary system is still broken. It's not, people will do the flight to safety is no longer like people. Bitcoin, if you thought that was going to be a store of value, you were wrong. This year down 6%. you know, on the year for Bitcoin. Gold's been working, and then now with silver, with all the margin calls, and you know, just the fact that everyone's talking about it puts eyes over here. So I would just say, if this can dip into something, you know, 54 to 56, 58-ish area, that's not going to happen today. That would be too much of a dramatic move. But, you know, over the next couple of days, the start of a new year, I think you can go ahead and start playing again. Forget about all the technical setups here and what's exactly happening with the CME and all that margin stuff. I think silver and gold and platinum and copper and all this continue to win, you know, heading into the new year, especially as we're going to get a new Fed chair. We talked about interest rates, potentially 2 cuts maybe in 2026 there. US dollar, we can watch the DXY still moving around as well. And then some uncertainties in this world as we still haven't, I know President Trump has solved, I think it was 342 wars or something like that, but going into the new year, I just don't see, you know, some sort of relief in any of that side of things. I mean, Ukraine and Russia maybe is still something there. Oil, actually, energy might be the next thing to start to pop up upside.
That was good.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good trade there yesterday as well. So we can look at all that stuff. But the CMEs are, the rules in the CME are what they are. So you're just going to have to play by those. It's been like that forever. And yeah, it is 4 million shares already on SLV. I think that's going to be where we look. But I, you know, for the longer term account, I like gold better. So if gold can drop just a little bit more, we'll buy some gold. But it's just funny that silver, it's had such a great 4 days, and he just put it right back to 65. So it's like up, down, down. So as Adara said, sort of the roller coaster here, or Sharif had mentioned, the roller coaster on silver just sort of continues. So yeah, you know, it's been fun. It's been fun. And I think this is what happens in the market when people sort of get bored a little bit, right? I mean, Tesla's at that 450, Meta's not doing too much, Apple, Google, Amazon. You know, when you're looking for things, sometimes you find them, and you know, they found the volatility and they're able to move around to silver. So,
for what it's worth, though, when you mentioned about the Fed and for next year, there was a slight uptick in the odds of a cut, not for January. That didn't move much, but if you go out to March, that kind of bumped up a little bit here. So, well, you know, like it should always start with January. Like in January, you've got like 16% chance at a cut.
Of a cut, okay.
And then if you go out to March, then that's up to 44, and then the chances of essentially that you'd have 2 cuts, because I would assume most of the probability would be that you do quarter point. There's, outside of doing a 50 base point cut in March, which I think is unlikely, is actually 6.6. So there was a slight uptick in optimism that you could get. So
go to December. Let's see what they think for the whole year.
Oh yeah, if you go to the...
Yeah, let's see what they think on that, like December of 26. Oh gosh. So what is that? So that's 300, so 3 to 325, so 50 basis points or so? Yeah. We're looking at between 50 to 75?
The market likes a couple cuts.
All right, so 2 to 3 cuts looks like what's baked in.
It's crept up a little bit.
Baked in. Bacon. You know,
yeah.
bacon.
Oh, I love some bacon right now.
Yeah.
Eh.
Next week we get back on schedule.
No catering.
With all that. What did you guys do for lunch yesterday? Did you do anything fancy? Or
I didn't.
You got Subway?
I did.
I knew it. I did see. Yeah.
Like 2 days ago, I had a weird. For some reason, I was like, I just want McDonald's. And
oh yeah.
And so I did that.
Your stomach was not appreciative of that.
No, it wasn't. But whatever, I had that feeling. But Obi got the poke bowl from the place.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna get.
That's what I'm thinking today. I saw his, and he was eating it all lunch because he was on all day, so he was eating the poke bowl during the afternoon show.
Oh, okay.
I'm just staring at this. I'm like, that looks really good.
Yeah, they have a good. Yeah, I like it. Ramin doesn't like that place, but right, Ramin? Am I saying something that's incorrect?
Yeah, it's not my fave.
Yeah, it's not her fave. I like it though. I'm gonna try it. What did he get? The chicken on there, or I got shrimp last time.
Well, it looked like chicken to me.
Okay.
Pretty sure it
looked like chicken to me. Okay, so maybe not.
No, well, I'm sure. Well,
they have chicken. They have I don't know.
Yeah, they have all kinds of
you don't. It's just okay.
For sure.
All right, upgrades and downgrades with Joey Options. Psych.
Oh, what?
Not quite Joey Options, and also, again, not too many downgrades today, but let's start here with the upgrade side of things. 2 upgrades to initiate coverage. We'll start with these upgrades. Plug Power getting actually a price target downgrade to $3 from $3.50, but an upgrade here from Clear Street. Then we've got TerraWolf up more than 3% on this upgrade from Keith Bruyette. Freedom Capital, on the other hand, initiating positive coverage on both Serve Robotics and Butterfly. Last but not least, or I guess not last but not least, but on the downgrade side of things, we've got Tower Semiconductor, TSEM, with a downgrade from Wedbush, and Wedbush also downgrading Global Foundries today, guys.
So at least today, like Global Foundries, there's 2 downgrades to just 1 yesterday, and Global Foundries we know. However, I mean, Wolf, it's too bad there's not more volume with this because it's got the whole, remember we were just talking about like BBAI and with Rigetti that we're at pretty key levels for small cappers that have a chance to go. But I look at TeraWolf and it's the same, it's sort of a similar thing. It's not at the 200 period, but it's at a support level at 11 and on some kind of a catalyst is trying to bounce. So it's like one of those put it on the back burner. Like if it starts to go, maybe this is one that first half an hour can give you just enough of a push. But again, volumes are going to be relatively light. There are some traditional small cappers that are moving as well. At the bottom of the watch list, you'll find ANGH and Ngami Inc., which of course the top is Of course the top is 420. Like why wouldn't it be? Gapping up after they reported their earnings, smaller loss than expected. You could find this one at the bottom of the watch. It's done over 10 million shares in volume, so decent enough volume, as you can see, gapping into some resistance here. But it's above VWAP. It's got solid volume. There's going to be a few names like that in play, but I'd throw TeraWolf into the category of the BBAIs and the Rigettis. Like the potential is certainly there. The level is there. You just need a kick in the butt at the open to want to join. Like it's not something that would be, hey, it's top of my radar. I'm going to sit there focused staring at it. But if it pops up that it's moving after the first 5 minutes, then I'm going to want to try to get involved.
Yeah, there was like, I said to Neil, there's like nothing on this upgrade and downgrade list. He said, well, it was double yesterday. Yesterday we had one on the downgrade. So I was like, okay, not much going on. I am going to just try to look at today some of the names that generally go. And it's just like if the market wants to go today, then we can pick on, the Qs or the Nasdaq basically, or we can pick on like a stock like Nvidia that's actually up today. I don't know if there was a story, Sharif, for Adara here. We don't. Nvidia is not on the watch list, is it? Oh yeah, it's first story, yeah, right there, a plus 0.1, but it's only right. It's a TSM stuff. Okay, so I was only saying that because I didn't see like any huge, but it's a move right now, so it's not a huge move at all. But we had it at 0.1 right here. We'll talk about Nvidia. So, but I guess TSMC there, the H200 chip. So I think that this is a story that we can probably play off of today, above the 200, above VWAP, starting to get going there. Nvidia is going to be a winner in 2026. I don't know how much, but this is be a stock that people will, flock to. If we do think that the AI race is not over yet, I mean, the spend is still there. And what are they spending them on? They're spending them on products, GPUs. So, you can go for the data center build-outs, which need chips, or that's why, I keep liking Marvell. But, all right, so NVIDIA is going to be probably top of the mind at some point. I actually put out, what's everybody trading today, and I had 7 or 8 responses here, but people are just saying, Happy New Year, TQQ, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. No one's saying what they want to trade today. So I'll put that in the chat. You guys let me know if there is something specific, or, get it in right now. This stock visualizer, I'm actually going to, well, actually, people are already voting. I don't know if you already reset this or resets every day, but put in the chat, like, if you want to go, I'll just put in here Tesla, and then you put that in the chat. You guys can see right here that once you put it in the chat, then it appears here, and then it starts to add it up. So if you guys, and again, welcome everybody. If you're just joining us now, we're on at 8 o'clock every morning, even on days when we have 2 downgrades. But SLV, so it's all going to start adding up into here. Although I just put in Tesla, and I don't even see it in here right now. Hold on a second. Is this paused? Leadership paused. I may have to refresh this right now. Fabian's not in yet, and I'm not sure it's working. So I'm gonna give it a fresh start, and we'll keep trying, and we'll see. Oh, there it goes. Okay, I've just refreshed it. Now I think now it's probably, now it's working. Okay, now it's calculating everything. Okay, so there we go. So put in your bids and your orders now, and we'll figure out what's going on there. Fabian always wins, man. Great job on that one, Fabian. Thank you so much. And thank you to Ramin, who's been switching for the last 2 weeks. And she's been super busy putting out, some of our social medias, giving fun little sound effects every once in a while, like this. And she's very sad that she has to go back to her.
Yeah, she's devastated.
Bruh. The one I want is the Donald Trump one. That one's the funny one, the South Park one. Come on, guys. What does he say in that one?
Thank you, buddy.
Relax, guy.
What is he saying there, Ramin?
I think he says, relax, guy.
Yeah, relax, guy. Something like that. Yeah. Oh, man, that's the funniest. I hope there's some more new South Parks coming up soon. All right, so this is what my sticky note looks like now. It's very full of nothing. as per usual. But we'll figure it out.
But
come on, guy, relax, guy. Relax, guy. We're going to find something to trade, guy. Oh, man. Nasdaq starting to...
Relax, guy.
Yeah, relax, guys. Got the phone in his hand. I'm just going to call some world leaders. Relax. We'll get this market going. Oh, Netflix. What did Netflix do yesterday? I just saw someone in the chat put that in there.
It was pretty. Look,
that could be something.
It didn't do much. I'll say that. But nothing was really too crazy yesterday. There was one point where I was like, ooh, Netflix had some relative strength, but that is abated with it being down now. So when we rolled over in the afternoon and silver rolled over and the market started to go, Netflix was holding support. And that seemed like it was going to be a level. I'm like, oh, let's pay attention to that tomorrow. And of course, we're gapped underneath it and not really moving a lot. The latest news, of course, with WBD simply is, hey, Netflix hasn't had to raise their bid. There's still the outside chance that you see a higher bid backed by Ellison. But right now, they're endorsing Netflix and telling advisors to reject the Skydance bid. So there's really not been much of a change. There was a slight bump up on Warner Brothers because some were speculating that, okay, well, maybe there will be this potential 33, move from 30 to 33. That hasn't happened. And once again, we were like, well, it's probably good to sell these pops. Every single time this thing gets over 29 on this kind of speculation, and then there isn't some raised bid, it ends up back lower. So I don't expect too much movement in here. But there are, I keep hearing a few names. Did I hear NVO in my ear? No, it wasn't Novo.
Oh, I muted all that stuff. I got to put that back on.
I think it was Novo that I heard in my ear. This didn't have a very good day either.
Is it moving?
Novo, since the gap up on the oral pill, it's just been slowly sliding down. Now, I don't want to say it's going to, where the heck is this key? Flat bottom break. But
Whoa.
Here's the thing, on a day like today, just because you're at a level doesn't mean it does something off of the level. But since it gapped up on that oral pill positive news, look, it's a week ago, man. 51 was the bottom.
I don't even know what day it is.
51 was the bottom, and again today, 51 is the bottom. So you break that down, there's a pretty sizable gap. Maybe there isn't enough of a catalyst to get it down. I don't know. But it's at a key level. It's something that should be on watch, I think, at that $51 level, Novo Nordisk. Whether it'll have the volume to do something crazy, all you can do is look to see if it breaks it down. And if it does, I think there's a good opportunity there.
This is the least likely day to be a Wednesday of all time, I feel like. This doesn't feel like Wednesday to me at all.
It's the worst.
Wait a second, is it Thursday?
Possible placement of New Year's Eve, in my opinion.
It's because then you get it off and you break back on Friday again. And the same thing was true with Christmas too, right? It was right in this middle of this week stuff over here. What's up, Mr. Haas over here? YouTube, best live trading. Who are you talking about? If it's not us, I'm going to ban you. Thank you to everybody in the chat, man. We're having a great time here as we usually do. 8:30 almost.
Ooh, claims data.
Ooh, yeah, that's right. That's the only number released today, I think.
That's all we got. Initial claims and continuing claims. So we'll see in about 90 seconds.
See if they continue in 90 seconds or so. We'll go back over to the desk and see what they're talking about. And then I'm going to write down some trades ideas for Nvidia.
Yeah, we'll get those numbers shortly, guys, about 90 seconds, as you said. But lots of headlines today on Nvidia. Sean, you were talking about Nvidia. 3 separate headlines, specifically one about asking Taiwan Semi to increase production on that H200 for China, as they've reportedly received over 2 million orders for that H20 separately. ByteDance on its own has allocated about $14 billion, about 100 billion yuan, for NVIDIA's AI chips in 2026. And then separately after that, there's an acquisition that NVIDIA is planning on making to acquire an Israeli AI company called AI21 Labs. The estimated price for that acquisition is about $2 to $3 billion. Neither company commented, but essentially what's being spoken about here by analysts is it's an acquisition for talent, as opposed to any IP or any product that the company has. So let me know when we have those numbers, by the way. So 3 different headlines today on NVIDIA. So that one certainly will be in play on the morning note. We've covered all 3 as well. So make sure to get that morning note for the YouTube premium subscribers. Adara, let me know when we got those numbers.
Yeah, I can just prepare you guys here for this jobless claims. Forecast 218,000, previous 214,000. So we are expecting a slight uptick here for these initial jobless claims. Continued jobless claims forecast 1.9017 million versus the previous print of 1.923 million. So we're expecting a slight downtick in continued claims, but as mentioned earlier, a slight uptick in jobless claims. We're just 2 seconds away. 1.866 million here for continued jobless claims, so lower than the estimate. Initial jobless claims also lower than expected, 199,000 versus 218,000 expected. Market, as of right now, seeming to like these numbers.
Yeah, well, not that much movement. We're getting a small spike. I don't want to get everyone's hopes up too much, but we're already going up going into that number, so that's going to be better than expected across the board. So is good news going to mean good news, or is good news going to mean that other thing? Where like the gains that we made on the rate cut chances for next year maybe abate a little bit here. So we're already sliding to the upside on the Nasdaq and trying to go green, and you're not seeing a huge reaction off that claims number. So let's see. I mean, I don't want to overreact. I wouldn't overreact in either way, but so far at least, I can't see any reason that you're changing any plans that you might have had. Whoops, NVDA I wanted to go to. Just to look at some individual names. NVIDIA was already strong. Slight bump, but again, like the market, we were already grinding higher here, and there wasn't any outsized reaction. So I haven't seen a crazy reaction anywhere for sure. Mike Patterson, or M. Patterson, I shouldn't make assumptions in the chat, saying DJT likes those numbers. That's a stock that, I mean,
DJT really likes continuous jobless claims numbers.
But it actually did move. That's kind of weird.
It must be something else. It's just funny. It's like, yeah.
No, that doesn't even make any sense, because the most recent thing was they're joining with that fusion company.
Right.
So I can't imagine that would matter, but it did move. You're absolutely right about that. It went 12.
Trump share digital token distribution. There's a story here. So, either.
Oh, there it is.
There you go. Yeah, I had the same story there as well. So, all right, we can go over. Let's go over to the desk, and maybe they can talk about this. So.
Getting this in right now, Sean. Haven't had an opportunity to
go
through, but Trump Media and Technology expects from near future each ultimate beneficial owner to be eligible to get one of new digital tokens per whole share of DJT. So as the tokenization kind of movement, interesting there, guys. We'll look into this a little bit more, and we'll get back to you. But DJT up 2.5%, about a 13.03 high, dropping back down now into the 1280s.
I mean, I was saying, Neil, I could just definitely got to fade this one. This is okay. I'm gonna have to get a short, because this is okay. So you're gonna get one token. So what's the token worth? Oh, we don't know. Okay. So I mean,
something.
It's a matter of waiting for this thing to pop to short it again. It's been okay. Sharif, we're gonna go back to Sharif in a second. I just want to say, like, this has been getting hit, to the downside there. So there's the pop up on that fusion deal. Here's the move back in on that. We don't even know too many details about that. Comes back in, and it's just looking to break that $10 mark. That's that SPAC level. But let's go back to Sharif and see what the more details on this are. I think DJT has to be a short over here.
All right, here it is, guys. So they announced plans to distribute a new digital token to its shareholders in partnership with Crypto.com. The distribution is expected to leverage Crypto.com's technology, including the high-performance interoperable Chronos blockchain. It's designed for speed, scalability, etc. Trump Media anticipates that beginning in the near future, each ultimate beneficial owner will be eligible to receive one of the new digital tokens per whole share of DJT with different rewards. Various rewards, the article reads, being made available to token holders periodically throughout the year. Rewards may include benefits or discounts tied to Trump Media, such as Truth Social, Truth Plus, and Truth Predict. Trump Media CEO and Chairman Devin Nunes said, quote, "We look forward to utilizing Crypto.com's blockchain technology and improving regulatory clarity to implement this first of its kind token distribution, reward Trump Media shareholders, and promote fair and transparent markets." If we have more, guys, we'll get back to you on that.
So there you go. I mean, if Truth Social blows up, then maybe you have a little something there. But yeah, we actually super cheap locates on DJT. Like it was like 100 shares cost 3 cents for every 100 shares of what the locates are. So it's like, it's not easy to borrow, but it's easy to borrow is the best way to think about it. No, I can't, that just doesn't seem like it's going to be a big enough catalyst to cause it to squeeze. If you look at the, we'll call it the fusion combination that happened, or I mean, is happening with them, that was a much bigger rally. Like, just to put it in perspective, you went initially 11 to 15, and then within 2 days, you were double topping at 17 bucks. Like, so far, we went like 50 cents on that move. And I think this is also like the whole like DJT, blockchain, whether it's crypto, fintech, that combination, that's a little bit older news. So it's probably something that everyone would have seen coming, at least to a certain extent as well. So I don't necessarily see this as a big enough catalyst to cause it to go. Like, the fusion thing was out of nowhere. And I think that caused a shock and a squeeze. And I'd be more inclined to look the other way here. With that fusion, when you had to wait a couple of days before it even became a short, here I'm looking at like 13, it's about 13.15 is like this prior day support, and then resistance here yesterday. So that'd be the first area to look. And then up top, there's probably even a bigger level at about 13.80. There's a couple of spots that I would want to look fade. The only downside is even after that news, it's on 150,000 shares. That's after the volume spike. So it's not exactly flying around here. Like, it might not even be crazy enough to get to that short level. But we'll see. You have to have these things on your radar on a day like today, because you don't, it's not always easy to be able to say on a day like today, oh, like, I like AMD where I liked it yesterday. Well, AMD might not do anything. It just, that's how it is. You want to have maybe a few more things on the radar, but you might end up still trading less, even though you have like 10 stocks you're monitoring instead of 5 or 6. You're just looking for 1 or 2 of them to actually have some action. Now all of a sudden DJT is going to be in play, and you never know. On a day like today, sometimes that news that just pops up out of nowhere is going to give you the opportunity that you might not have normally had. So yeah, it's starting to pick up a little bit on volume. Just got to another 50, 60,000 shares just transacted. Still a 20-cent spread on a $12 stock though.
Yeah, I have highlighted to go short on that one. So we'll pay for shorts on DJT, which is very, very cheap here at Real Trading. And you know what, we can go over and see. I know it's going to be a slow day in the marketplace, but let's just go see. You know, I was actually going to try to open up. I'm trying to open this up right here. Open it through P-Pro 8. Okay, I'm going to show the numbers from yesterday, but they're not loading.
There's an issue with TIP.
Oh, is there? Okay,
I have a ticket in already.
Okay, good. So I cannot show you who made money or not yesterday. But there's always opportunities in the market. So there you go. DJT just pops up. Added it to the sticky note. It'll be out very, very shortly. And yeah, up 2% there. DJT as it goes on tokenization talk over here, guys. But 837, Nvidia, DJT, and silver so far on our minds. So, all right, Nasdaq looks like Sharif and Adair looks like it's trying to get to Greensville right here on a nice little bump up, as is the ES. Both up down 0.7 and 0.06 right now to start with. And then, you know, everyone's still talking about silver in the chat and whatnot, but it's still down 5%. But trying to get going through this 64.50 bottom. So we'll see if it bounces a little bit higher. I was going to write down. I didn't write down any levels for silver. We'll be trading it today, but you know, I think you just got to get back up to this 68.50 marker before we actually think about doing something. The 200 periods at 67. Like to see it transact a little bit around that area as well. So, all right, 838. Let's go back to the desk.
Let's talk a little meta. This won't make the morning rundown, so we'll get to it now. They are being sued here by the U.S. Virgin Islands, raising concerns of a regulatory overhang. So the U.S. Virgin Islands AG has filed a lawsuit against Meta Platforms. He's accusing the company of deliberately profiting from scam-related advertising and failing to protect users. The company alleges Meta knowingly allowed fraud, illegal gambling, and banned products to ads to persist because, well, they increased engagement. The lawsuit, which cites a Reuters investigation reporting that Meta internally projected roughly about 10% of its 2024 revenue, which is about $16 billion, could have actually come from scam-related and prohibited ads. Internal documents cited in the report suggest Meta does not block the suspected scam advertisers unless its internal systems reach a 95% certainty of wrongdoing. Personally, I have seen this on Meta, specifically on Facebook, not on Instagram, where drugs guns were ads for those products were coming up, and when you click through them, they weren't just, you know, clickbait. You could actually go ahead and follow through the entire process. That was one form. The other form would give you weird names, synonyms for a different product, but it wouldn't show you the actual product in the picture itself. And then when you click and you follow through, you see that you were being led down something obviously that was prohibited. So personal experience with that, Adara, but user safety and child protection also in focus.
Yeah, because this lawsuit doesn't just accuse Meta of these ad revenue issues. It also says that the company's been misleading the public with regards to how safe Facebook and Instagram are, especially with regards to children and teens, saying that Meta allegedly promotes safety policies publicly while actually not enforcing them behind the scenes. Reuters also reported here, again in this report, that internal AI chatbot guidelines allowed romantic encounters with minors. Meta later said it removed these, but we know these concerns are not new, so it'll be interesting to see how this suit proceeds.
Meta responded to the report, guys, and they said, look, since we were made aware of this by Reuters, scams have fallen by around 50% in the last 18 months. That's their allegation, or their defense, I should say, to the allegation. So Meta, flat start today.
Yeah, I mean, they get the report. That's the sort of thing, like they can say, well, look at the numbers that we're showing you about how scams are down. But the other thing too is this was actually pointed out yesterday by a bunch of viewers, lots of accounts have been like shut down erroneously for illegitimate reasons, people complaining about it on Reddit. So there's always something when you're as big as Meta. That's the reality. And especially when you have like these advertising cycles, like you're always trying to maximize traffic and this and that. So, you know, they're doing what they're going to do in certain situations where they need the business to not shut people down, let's just say, and then other times when they can afford to crack down, then they're going to. And I think you get this bit of an ebb and a flow for Meta. Right now, the ebb and the flow of the stock is squarely, like this is the reason why the 666 keeps coming up. It's simply because look at the channel, and all week long I've said this, and I think even in the last week, like what you have is a very clear and obvious resistance at the 200 period, fade it, and then support at the 50 period, and they're both simple moving averages on the daily, and that's where you can maybe catch a bit of a bid. It was pretty clean with that yesterday, so the top end is like 673. Like if you see that today, like probably look for some kind of a reversal. The bottom end doesn't seem very likely at all because that's down in the 650 range, 653, 654, or something like that. So, you know, this is one that for now you're playing at the edges, and eventually it's going to break out. And I still don't care which way it breaks for a trade. Obviously, I prefer it breaks out to the upside. I think it'll be a good place to add in the new year if it does so above that 200 period. But for now, it's just an inside day. Like look how hard the rejection is at the top of that range. Like the last couple of times, we've gone parabolic at the open right into that 673. If it does it again today, that's the kind of place you look for that quick fade. You get one reversion and that's your day. You know, I just can't see this headline, or maybe, I mean, the market's strong, so I guess that could get us there. I don't think it'll be the headline that would get us to test that 673 at all, especially when it's mostly negative. It's more the fact that the Nasdaq's trying to go green after we got those good jobs numbers. So that could happen. Just remember, this is a range-bound stock and has been for a while. I don't expect that to change anytime soon.
Yeah, it is going to, I mean, this could be a play for 2026 for sure. I mean, it's just been, it's still down, right? I don't think on the year, but right into here, the average return, I mean, I can call up a bigger daily chart here for Meta and just have a quick little look at where we are actually on the year. It's actually coming pretty close to being flat-ish. It's going to be up on the year. But what I'm looking at is this breakout rate over here on Meta, right? Like there's the daily chart is focused in. It doesn't do this forever, right? We've seen stocks, especially major mega cap names here, barcode for a minute, find a base, and then it's been typically taking back off up to the upside here. And this could be pretty elongated. Like right into here, you only have about 2 weeks. Into here, maybe the same. You know, other than that, like Meta's not just hanging around too much too often, right? So if it continues to sort of bounce around, as Neil was saying, it doesn't look like it's trying to break out anytime soon. You go all the way back to November 28th. So right now you're on about a month of Meta basically doing nothing. And that's scary, I think, if you're an investor, because you don't know which way it's going to break. So I'm positive about this name, and I think Instagram continues to work. 3 billion daily users. They bought or they did an agreement with a company today, Mana or something. So we'll have to wait to see where this winds up going. But 680, Zuckerberg knows what he's doing, I would think, and has made great acquisitions in the past. And I think another one probably will help this stock get going. And whatever it was today, they did make a Meta, right, Adara? Meta had a deal with somebody. Manus, that's it. That's what it was. So there you go. So they're trying to implement these robots and that AI back into their system as well. So we'll see if they can, sort of realize the profitability on that acquisition, a relatively low cost on that. We do want to wait, of course, for earnings to come through, right? I mean, right now we have a great backdrop. We've had great earnings the last quarter. We do have a Fed that looks to be relatively dovish, and the market's at close enough to all-time highs. Oil here, gold and silver is what's moving around. I like Meta here, and I think it does break long here in 2026. So Meta could be a play for me here moving forward this year. Let's see what winds up happening here. And there it is, 6666. We almost got it. Is there a 666? No, not yet. Pennies away here from that number. But yeah, I like Meta breaking out. I think it could be one of the plays of mine here for 26.
All right, let's talk a little Nike here. A couple of different comments. Guggenheim, one of them, also some insider buying. We'll get to that in a second. So Googie, sorry, just let me set this up so you guys can follow along. Yes, Guggenheim reiterated its buy rating on Nike with a $77 price target. That implies about a 26% upside from the latest closing price. Despite that, though, or despite trading at a high PE, which is about 36 times, the data suggests, at least to Guggenheim, that the stock is undervalued. But analysts are by no means in consensus about this, with the price targets really ranging from $35 all the way up to $120. Just to give you an idea here, their last 10Q filings showed North American unit growth for a second straight quarter. That was offset, though, by weakness in China. But Guggenheim noting China's fundamentals may actually be better than initially perceived, didn't really highlight as to why. Store comparable sales declined across all regions. Gross margin pressure remains a concern, driven by promotions. These are all different points Guggenheim is pointing out. Revenue declined about 5% over the past 12 months, but they see the unusual insider share purchase as a vote of confidence, Adara, and there was more of that today.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So just a week after we had some other filings, which we'll discuss in a minute, CEO Elliott Hill purchasing $1 million in company shares. This is according to an SEC filing. He now holds just under 242,000 Class B shares of Nike after purchasing 16,388 Class B shares at $61.10 each. Now, last week we had Tim Cook, who of course is the CEO of Apple, but also an independent director of Nike's board. He purchased 50,000 Nike shares. Bob Swan, who was actually, fun fact, former CEO of Intel, another independent director for Nike, last week he also picked up some shares.
All right, guys, Nike up about 3%, a little bit less. What's your look?
Not going to be much in terms of a catalyst today. So this is some insider buying. There has been a nice bounce in Nike recently. I would point to, hey, like it's up 3 points today, and it's had like 5 or 6 days in a row. Actually, maybe, 6 days in a row now. If this day ends up green, where you have been positive, but the overall trend is very unbroken. Like you're underneath both major moving averages. The 200 period is downward sloping, something that Brian Shannon, who we had on yesterday, talks about a lot, and something that I've started to look at is something where I don't get too jazzed up about a stock in terms of continuing any kind of a bounce, and when you have that downward sloping 200 period still. All of that said, I think you've still got a little bit of room before today. There's the 50 period at 64 where it could turn around. Certainly, I think if it gets into the 200 period, you start to think about, okay, well, there's going to be some sellers in there selling some of those pops and taking what they can out of it, because that's what's been happening. Like it's on a very clean downward trend with some lower highs the whole way through. But again, that gives us some room to work with today. Like it's filled in one gap. So I'm zooming out on the 15-minute. Like you filled in one gap into 63. So all I'm looking for is if 63 can hold, then you've got a gap into 65 that can play. If 63 doesn't hold, then you've got like the prior highs in here. So I'm playing it pretty binary. If we dip, pull back into prior highs for a bit of a continuation long. If we hold, look for it to try to get to that 65 today, or, well, not tomorrow, but that could be also a continuation play for Friday. But I still think it's more of a temporary thing. The overall overhang still remains on the stock, and it's still being sold when it gets to some of those lower highs on the daily. I just think for today, it at least gives you something to the long side.
We keep hearing about, you know, this Nike's not adjusting with the times. There's more competition out there. Obviously, all of that is true. And then we look at someone like an On Holding, things like that, to see, you know, what that stock's been doing. So on the short term, it actually looks like it's been fine, right? It's been like a nice little uptrend. Nike started the year at $71. It's at 63 right now. Is that what Nike was just at right there? 65? Let me hold on quickly. Yeah, 63 exactly. Okay, so that was pretty good. So it's down about 10% or so on the year. And if we actually zoom out, you know, you could see On Holdings as well. You know, if we're going to talk about like, oh my God, they need to sort of get with the times and be more like some of their, you know, potential competition. Well, On as well is down almost more than, I would say, about, actually, it's close to the same. This was $55, $56 at the beginning of the year, now down to 47. So this is down about 14% year to date on Holdings. So, you know, the whole space isn't necessarily doing, you know, bang up job here. UA, Under Armour, oops, UA, right there. Under Armour not doing anything either. UA, okay, not Blue Ocean. Oh God, this might take a minute to load.
You can trade it on Blue Ocean.
Yeah, I think you can trade anything on Blue Ocean these days. But anyways, what I was getting at is this space is not the greatest, right? Lululemon is down 40% on the year. This athleisure area just hasn't been the greatest. So, you know, Under Armour continues to get hit. Nike's going to need to do something. I think if they just came out with another sort of, see this, unfortunately, my daily chart doesn't want to do anything over here, but I think with the Olympics coming through, and then now we have FIFA, the World Cup, you know, that's enough to sort of spark a little bit of interest, I would think, back into this whole athleisure Nike kind of space. So I'm excited for the year, for what it could be for Nike, especially when you get this little activism and this sort of change here in momentum for Nike heading into the new year. So that's nice. I still don't love the retail space, but I've made a couple plays in that as well. So we'll hold out for Target and Lululemon rather than those two names. But I can't blame anybody that wants to take a shot there on Nike. I mean, the news flow is there for it. So here's Under Armour, and just load it up. Let me just show you what it looks like. This is what it looks like on the year as well. So actually, don't tell me they're going to be up. No, okay, so there it is. So here's, well, no, it's because of this little dip down there. I was wondering if that was down here even. But yeah, there's January. So you're at $7, $8 at the beginning of the year, and now you're down to $5. So, you know, still been a pretty downside play there. Like I said, Lululemon down 45% as well. All right, let's go back over, man. It's 8:52. Thank you, everybody, for joining. If you're joining us for the first time, we're on at 8. And if you're joining us for the first time, I need to ask you to do this. Just hit right there the subscribe button. We're stuck on this for 548,000. We need to get to 550,000. So just hit the like and the subscribe right there. 3,000 of you watching. So if some of you hit it, we'd get a lot closer. 2,000 away from that number. Let's see if we could do it on New Year's Eve, everybody. Nasdaq just turns green and goes green pretty good.
It's still going.
Yeah, pretty good right now. The ES is going, the Nasdaq is going, everything. Look at this. We were just red on the. Yeah, unfortunately, the name that I wrote down as my #1 trade idea. Now we'll just have to come on, charts. Now this doesn't even want to go. We'll have to relook at levels now. I still love Nvidia. But this was the name that, you know, I brought this up, honestly, when we first started. This is an hour ago. But it was breaking this level, which I was interested in. I was like, well, is there a story on NVIDIA? Remember, NVIDIA was up 0.5? And I was like, oh, NVIDIA's up 0.5. The market's, you know, but there it goes. So there we go, man. The market's telling you who the winners are. When you're moving up on very limited news like this, you know, you can see where traders are trying to get involved with. And I bet you Broadcom I actually like just as much as NVIDIA moving forward as well. So I can see this name, although I don't think it's moving like NVIDIA today. No. Really like Broadcom heading into the new year because it's been hit as well. Come back in and give you a great little bottom there of 330 for Broadcom right into here. I mean, that's been such a great little buy area there for Broadcom. I think we got to go continue to do that as well. But yeah, most stocks pushing green right now today. So yeah, let's go, man. The market's pumping up. Give us a little New Year's present here. And yeah, we have some, you said, Raheem dropped off bottles yesterday.
You'll see we'll probably show you guys in the afternoon show, but Raheem dropped by with some gifts that we'll be able to show you guys and maybe enjoy this afternoon. Also, with the market going higher, worth noting, DJT is still continuing to climb.
Oh, is it? Okay.
This,
I'm still going short.
Yeah, this token news. So it's about 5.5% right now. I was just going over the quote board when we saw the market go to green to look to see what was really going the most. But outside of NVIDIA, I just wanted to show you guys that. Outside of NVIDIA, you also have some other chip names which are grinding higher. AMD just went green as well. So NVIDIA's up 1.1, AMD's up 0.2%, still a little bit weaker. This was one from yesterday. There was a couple of good chances in front of two. Here, I'm going to show a 15-minute chart here just a little bit better. This shows you a heck of a lot more just the idea of where the resistance has been on AMD. Like, it's been a fade about 216 half to 217 every single day for the last week. So maybe today is going to be built different. But right now, NVIDIA is clear. NVIDIA has the direct news here. It does, of course, rising tide lifts all ships here, and it's positive news for AMD. If NVIDIA has China ordering a bunch of chips, it does mean that there's going to be some positivity for AMD. But I'd be much more inclined to treat this one as resistance till it's not. Yesterday, I said I would take a 217 break if it happened. It obviously didn't, and ended up only being a short. I feel the same way about it today as I did yesterday. One of these things is stronger than the other. And when I say one of these things, look how obvious that is. With NVIDIA breaking through what has been resistance outside of one day, and AMD just trying to climb into it. So I think it's pretty simple. Like, I like to favor certain stocks in a group on a given day, and today I would favor NVIDIA. I would certainly not just automatically assume AMD has to go down, but I'm going to consider it weaker. And one more. Yesterday, the biggest chip mover was actually Intel was probably your best chance for trades, whether it was a short reversion off the highs, which was a good trade, or it was like a breakout trade early. It's up 1%, but oddly enough, a bit of an inside day there for Intel. So I think I'd wait for the peripheries on Intel. As good as it was yesterday, it was this and silver and maybe a couple of other things that were moving. Not sure this one's going to outpace the rest of the chips like it did in previous trade. When we finished the afternoon, I kind of thought Intel was going to be a bigger play based on the light volumes and how it had moved yesterday. Not sure. Not the way AMD is going, not the way NVIDIA is going. I think they're going to take the lead here, at least temporarily. But yeah, again, there's some things to watch. Good thing that we got that DJT news for some traders that are going to be interested there. And so far, so good in terms of reaction to that jobs initial claims numbers and continuing claims, both of those ending up good. The markets are going green, although we're not out of the woods yet. Like, we're up 0.1, and it's only 9 o'clock. So we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, Sharif.
We do not. But let's talk a little Chinese EVs. They were very strong yesterday, and I got to speak for myself. I didn't really know why. It looks as if, we saw NIO up 5 3/4, Li Auto really trailing behind the other two, 1 1/4. XPeng was up over 6%, but they're all down about 3% and change today. The reason they were up yesterday, though, is Beijing is extending the vehicle trade-in incentives into next year. The new policy by the Chinese government is going to offer rebates based on vehicle price, favoring specifically new energy vehicles. Now, new energy vehicles, not just strictly electric vehicles, but the type of hybrid-like vehicles that Li Auto sells over gasoline cars. Of course, the subsidies are going to range from the low double-digit percentages for these NEV trades, with scrappage to lower rates for others. The government's allocating a dare about 62.5 billion yuan for the replacement programs, which is kind of helping to address the recent sales slump domestically.
I want to talk about another story here for these Chinese EVs. I'm seeing apparently Chinese automakers capturing nearly 13% of Europe's EV market and 13% of their hybrid sales in November of 25. That's with these EU tariffs. So, I mean, good job here for these Chinese EVs. I want to talk about XPeng as well. I mentioned this, but earlier this week, XPeng with a couple catalysts, Morgan Stanley saying it's preferred pick in the EV space in China. That came out on Monday. Also on Monday, XPeng, along with Peking University, saying that their paper on this fast drive VLA concept that they've come up with is actually been accepted by AAAI 2026. So that conference on watch too.
All right, close to 9 o'clock. Let's have a look at the futures, guys. Here is the look at the ES March contract, 69.44. That is where we closed out yesterday, and we defended that quarter point area quite well. Not the quarter point area, the 25-point area, 69.25. We hold it quite well. We are now with the overnight high just a skosh above 69.51. We're trading below it right now. So here's the deal. We're going to use that 50-point area. That's going to be the first level of resistance. If we can get through that, we're looking at that same 75-point area we've been having trouble with as resistance. All right, guys, make sure to get the watch list every day. It's sent directly into your inbox, and it's bright and early. Make sure to get it. No good morning routine is complete without a good watch list. Adara prepares it, and we all use it. Helps you organize your day and helps you know what's running and what to prioritize. Let's look at Nvidia. Several headlines today on Nvidia. Let's start with the first one. Supply strain as AI demand surges for their chips in China. What are we talking about here? The Chinese tech firms have reportedly ordered over 2 million H200 chips for 2026, far exceeding the current available supply. Nvidia is now pushing Taiwan Semiconductor to accelerate the production to meet this demand. But as we've spoken about before, this is a 2023 chip, and production for it is far less than it was at the time. Taiwan Semi has responded and said they do expect production to ramp up in the second quarter of 2026, but the strain does highlight, Adara, Nvidia's dependence on these leading edge foundries.
And this again comes as they have a lot of demand, because we're seeing also that global demand for AI infrastructure continues to accelerate. Apparently, ByteDance, parent company of TikTok, as mentioned earlier, is now planning on allocating roughly 100 billion yuan or 14 billion USD to NVIDIA AI chips in 2026. That shows the size of China's AI build out right now. Again, also reported yesterday during the middle of the day here, NVIDIA actually allegedly in talks to acquire this AI 21 Labs. This comes right on the heels of its acqui-hire situation with Grok AI.
All right, guys, apparently this is not really the deal is focused more on the acquisition of talent. That is speculation. Neither company has responded to reports, but the reports coming out that NVIDIA's primary interest in that AI 21 is about a 200-person workforce that are employed by it, many with advanced academic backgrounds. NVIDIA is already planning more major R&D expansions in Israel, calling Israel its second home, and already or looking to employ about 10,000 people. Or the campus is expected to eventually support up to 10,000 employees and roughly span about 160,000 square meters.
Yeah, like Zuckerberg goes out and he hands out these crazy bonuses when he wants to get talent. NVIDIA just rolls like the dude from Inception. He's like, well, how did you manage to get in the whole first class? You know, I just bought the airline. I thought that was
right. Exactly.
So like, look, there's maybe 200 employees, but let's be real. NVIDIA rolls deep like that, where they're like, well, we like these 10 guys. Bless you. We like these. We want to
mute the first time, but not the second time.
It's all good. It's all good.
Wake up.
At least you get the mute.
Wake up, America.
Half the time, I don't even get. I'm trying to get to the mute button, and I'll just.
Oh boy. Oh boy. My bad.
No, we gotta like NVIDIA today. So we just finished talking about the guy. Like yesterday, I still favor until you break resistance. AMD, I'll play that as a resistance level until proven otherwise. But NVIDIA, unlike AMD, had a very similar resistance, all except for the day that we pressed into the 190s. You had this 188.5, 189 area that was resistance. So you can forget about support. Well, you shouldn't. I shouldn't say that. For now, you can forget about the support. I just look at that prior resistance level, and because we've already gapped on through, and it's a pretty hefty move, hey, look where it lines up. It's 9 o'clock, and that resistance lines up as the volume-weighted average price. Sometimes that's what happens. So about 188.5 on NVIDIA is where I would look to try to buy the dip. It's on a day like today, you don't really want the stock that's the most bullish to have already done this, to be real, because sometimes that just means it'll be a little trickier to catch some kind of a long trade because it's already done some of the work. And then, as I mentioned, AMD has had this fade up top at just in front of about 217 or so. Yesterday, it was 216.5, and then it was 216.75. I think with the strength you're seeing, 217 would be the level for me on AMD. And those are the chip names on watch. Like I pulled up SMCI, didn't really see anything too crazy. We already talked about Intel. I think yesterday was great for Intel. Today, Nvidia leads the way instead.
Yeah, look, I mean, I wrote down, and it's going to be, oh, shoot, I didn't push send on the, oops, I didn't push send on the sticky note yet. Okay, but I'll just push it now. It's out there, and I when we first went on the air, man, we talked about this Nvidia breakout right there. And I just didn't want to take it because it was the pre-market, and I'm fine with that. Like that's part of the problem of starting at 8 o'clock is you get these ideas and then they break, and now you're wondering, okay, like why didn't we take the break, right? But when we are looking at light volumes here already today, tough to to look here in the pre-market. But I think if you're going to buy something with strength today, Nvidia's definitely has to be on your radar. So for me, I always play the same kind of a theory here, and that is just a pullback. So I don't think there's any levels that we want to break long today, really. That 190 we just bounced off of, so we can look at that, possibly. But again, with a lack of volume, already up 1%, Nasdaq just turning green. I don't know if this name has 2% in it. I don't think it's really worth pushing the highs right now and trying to worry about it. So if it's not going to push the highs too much at 190, and we still have a half hour, so we'll wait to see how it goes. We have the imbalances coming out. I look for it to fall back in, and normally we look at the 200 period moving average. But with this kind of a move right here, I don't really see it giving everything back. So the note, what I put there on the note, which just went out right now, was that we'd have to look at VWAP, and that's my bad. I thought I pushed send before. We have to look at VWAP again. So I already had 188 marked down, or now we have to look at VWAP with a little Buffalo there. Shout out to the Buffalo Bills and Sabres. But, it's just a little bit of a pullback into 188 gives us the level I like, but now I think it's better just to look at VWAP. So coming up into here, 188, probably going to be around 189 maybe by the time we open up, and we'll let it settle down for the first couple minutes. So I like Nvidia there. I did see our good friend Linda Meyer there in the chat wanted to look at AMD up here at 216.50 or so as a possible level. I don't hate on that either. The only thing is I don't know if we want to, this is not even going yet. AMD is just going to be a tough, you were just talking about shorting this top band. I think that's, you didn't mention AMD, did you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so that I was going to say that's a trade then that I think actually, it's fine. But
the thing about it yesterday, and I should have said this, I'm glad you brought it up, because the trade for me was actually, it was the second test. Like it had already wicked the high. So I allowed it to wick the high and then short the move. The confirmation play, as opposed to sort of sitting in front of it, like the moving freight train, like let it show the top, and then when it tries to retest the top at the open, then try to take the trade. Because I find so often that whole, like whether it's the rubber band trade where you're buying that dip on that first 3 or 5 minute candle, that can get really dangerous. On a day like today, it could be even crazier because liquidity is going to be a little bit lower. So I like that confirmation. Like let it fail the level and then get in that second time, and just be more patient. Like be willing to miss it a little bit there. That being said, the one trade, and we're about to talk about silver, the seesaw or the teeter-totter, the elevator, whatever you want to call it. It's just a yo-yo trade. It was something that you could have been involved with all day long. It was setting up trades in silver, and the volume was good. I feel like today could be a similar thing.
China is set to tighten export controls on silver starting tomorrow, elevating the metal from an ordinary commodity to what they're calling a strategic material that places it closer to the kind of rare earth export restrictions that we saw plague the industry earlier this year. The announcement is from the China Ministry of Commerce, and it comes alongside new restrictions on both tungsten and antimony. China remains, of course, one of the world's largest silver producers and exporters, having shipped over 4,600 tons in the first 11 months of this year. But this is already having a price effect here. Tightening controls is already distorting, apparently, according to reports, the physical market, with buyers offering $8 to $10 per ounce above spot prices for immediate supply, mostly in Europe. Canadian miner Coil Silver confirmed inbound offers from Chinese manufacturers, Chinese trading firms, as well as Indian buyers. These premiums suggested the stress in the physical availability, not just speculative futures, which has an effect on the futures exchange, and they've taken some actions as well.
Well, they haven't yet, but they're going to as the end of the day. We do have CME saying that as of the close today, December 31st, they are going to be raising their margins here on these precious metals yet again. Now, this is significant because we most recently had this margin increase on silver earlier this week. Now, as I've mentioned a couple times now, that drop in 2011 on silver came after the CME raised margins on silver 5 times over a 9-day period. Now we've got 2 increases in a roughly 3 or 4 day period. So this is significant, guys, and I think certainly something worth noting given how silver has tended to react historically to moves like this.
Physical has been the way to go. I think that's a better place if you're holding physical silver. But you know, the yo-yo action, if that's what we're calling it, or seesaws we have on the board there, if we had green day, red day, green day, red day, then today is obviously looking for the red day. And it doesn't mean that you couldn't have gone short yesterday. Yesterday was vastly different from the complete ridiculous Boxing Day trend up day where all it did is trend up. So I don't know if we completely resemble what we saw 2 days ago on the 29th, but that's kind of what I'm going for. The bottom end of this range where you got 66.5 to 67 is the resistance, like into this bottom, and play the shorts. And what it gave you, and just an idea, when I was sort of saying there were multiple places you could trade it, so here's the open. Like you were trending down at the open on silver. Oh, where's my thing? There we go. Just want to be able to show. So you were trending down going into the open. This would be the open. And then first things first, you put in a higher low. That gave an opportunity for some longs. There's also the 68 even level, which gave you opportunities for longs. But then look at it. It held VWAP, which gave you a trade. Then it broke the trend, like this little downtrend, and then you were buying into the top of the trend, the prior trend line. So that gave a couple of long opportunities. Then there was like a clear breakout. There was shorts. This would have been a great short through 70. But as mentioned, yesterday you had a problem trying to short because it was SSR. And that meant when it was breaking down a level like this, it was very difficult to actually get shorts by hitting the bid. Today, you won't have that issue. So today, I'm just looking for to short some pops into 66.5. That's around the key area, like 66.5 to about 67, like in this region, if you go back a couple of days. So I'm going to favor that side of the trade, but I'm willing to join. If I see trend down, I'm joining the trend. I'm going to throw those trend lines up once they can form, and then see if we can't just play the trend like yesterday.
Yeah, I think what's happening here too is let's not forget about what's underpinning this whole trade, right? And I think that you do still have some industrial uses here for silver. You do have the stockpiling of the physical silver as well. So we are going to have near-term sort of corrective action, as Sharif was mentioning there, and Adara and everybody in the margin and how that all works. And then you do have the beginning of the year. We do know that it's trading a little higher right now, $80 to $81 or whatever a troy ounce there in Chinese markets. So we are sort of physically a little higher than where we are right now. So that's sort of sparking what this demand could potentially bring. But if nations are stockpiling silver, there's going to be less of it around. And so that's a supply and demand issue. And whenever there's limited supply and apparently higher demand, you're going to see reactionary plays, right? And right now, silver just continues to be on the top of everybody's mind, especially as a day trade, and you have 6 million shares. And I don't think it's coincidental that we're doing this sort of breakout and everything here heading into the new year. So let's just let the corrective forces sort of take its hold here. We've seen names, HKDs of the world, DJTs, some of these names that just get blown out because there's a share structure problem or whatever, right? So SLV right now just up and down there on margins, talks about, the banks being well short this because they know what's going to happen. It will eventually correct down. But how far, I don't know. So I would think today we probably continue a little bit of a downside play. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, you're still going to go long, right, until you break the 64 area. So that's kind of the gap. And then once you get into that gap, then you get back into 60 again. So we'll see. I think the telling point will be the next trading day. Let's see what happens here. Give it a day off tomorrow. Well, I mean, the markets are going to be closed there for New Year's. I don't know what they are in London. And then we'll come back on Friday, and then it's basically the turn of the calendar, January 1st. Then let's just see once, all the traders, not all of them, but once they come back to their desks, then we'll be able to see what silver and gold really want to do. And I think they do continue the trend higher. So let's not just forget that they are buying up physical silver here, and I'm going to go home and start polishing up some of the forks and knives and whatnot to make sure you can take that to the pawn shop there, switch it in for some you know, cheaper.
Melt your coins.
Cheaper stuff. Yeah, melt something over there. I do have a couple bars of silver, but I don't think they're, like I said, I think they're an ounce each. But maybe, yeah, hey, look, if you have 10 of them now, I mean, you know, you're getting up there. You're getting up there.
Silver, what was it? Silver, I don't know if it's still true, but silver had passed, like an ounce was, like it passed like oil. And then in terms of market cap and in terms of the size, like it got to the number 3 asset in the world on this run. I don't know if it's still true because it obviously pulled back off some of those highs. Something which is not at its highs anymore as well, which recently made some, is Tesla.
Ooh.
Michael Burry.
All right, let's go. What's he saying?
Yeah, what's he saying?
Michael Burry chiming in on Tesla. He's pushing back against speculation that he's betting against the company, explicitly stating, quote, "I am not short," despite the stock, quote, again, being ridiculously overvalued, close quote. The comment followed questions on social media after he reiterated his valuation concerns that he had already shared with his subs on his paid Substack earlier this month. But you'll recall, he's recently drawn attention for short positions tied to major tech names, arguing that some firms are using aggressive accounting to exaggerate their AI-driven profits. What more can you tell us about this, Adara?
Well, I think what's important here to note is the post that he actually mentioned here or tagged, and he said that Tesla was ridiculously overvalued. I'll show you guys here. Basically, I know it's kind of hard to read, but it's just a summary of this article about how Tesla on its own website basically said, hey, we're very likely to, people are expecting us to have lower Q4 deliveries this quarter. I showed that multiple times yesterday. Tesla's own website basically compiling these weaker than expected delivery estimates for the quarter. So Michael Burry directly referencing that post. It's interesting then to see what we're going to get once we get those Q4 deliveries. Now, it's also interesting here, when he said he's not short, that was actually a comment on a separate post of his, just a response to someone else's reply in the comments, as you can see, posted at 1:23 a.m. this morning. He is not short. So just a little bit more detail here in terms of what Michael Burry posted and some of the context.
That's interesting because I just saw in that thread, like the question was, would you short Tesla here? And he said, I am not short. Like it's like, so he didn't say I wouldn't. He didn't really give a yes or no answer to that question, which is fair. But if you think it's overvalued, well, okay, well, based on any traditional or normal valuations, Tesla's been overvalued forever. Like when was the last time? No, it hasn't. I don't think it's ever traded at what someone would consider a reasonable valuation. If you want reasonable valuations, then go look at in the EV space or car space, then just look at GM or like Ford or something like that. GM having a fantastic year, by the way, better than Tesla on a percentage basis. I still think we're headed down to about I said yesterday 444, but the 50 period is actually closer to 445. There's an outside chance that gets tested today. I don't think it's incredibly likely with the market kind of bouncing here, but I said this might happen. We might get a test breaking 450, and then it's about 445, 444, where I'd be looking for that bounce off the 50 period here for Tesla. Maybe it's more of a Friday or a 2026 thing, as I like to say, because now it can be dramatic about things that happen in a couple of days, and that's what I'm waiting for in Tesla. It's not really on the radar. It's still downward trending, but it's diddling in the middle today without any key levels to play off of, which I'm not a huge fan of. So I'm going to wait for this 50 period bounce on Tesla. I think you could see that early in the new year, and if it doesn't hold, I think you're at that point then waiting for 420. But that's the next thing I'll wait for on Tesla myself. I wouldn't necessarily be, I mean, like whatever. I wouldn't have wanted it at 480, 490 either. Right. Like the 500 was obvious resistance. So I am surprised you didn't take another shot short at it. Like it's weird. Like if Burry likes it short and thinks it's overvalued, like was 500 not the place to take the shot? I don't know.
Yeah, I think we keep on going back and forth. This is what it's like silver again, where you have a near-term sort of catalyst, and I don't know if I want to keep on listening to this person is short that. But I mean, it's enough for us to trade it and look at it. And I think Neil's right. Like, you know, we've made plays. People shorted Palantir off earnings. They shorted Nvidia off earnings. And yeah, traders are going to be short Tesla off of all-time highs. I mean, that's just kind of how it works. And this is actually pretty healthy. This is actually really healthy movements. You know, like the fact that it's pulling back right into here, you don't mind pulling back into the 50-period moving average at all. Like that's why we mark it down here. It's not a horrible idea for Tesla at these levels to see if it can get going again back to the upside. So this is a good little hold area for them between 440 to 450. So let's see if Tesla does wind up holding that. As far as the day trade is concerned, it's got to be a long today, I would think. I mean, you're up against the market right now. You're looking for relative strength on a day like today. So if you ever fall back into, you know, yesterday's closing area of 55 to 54, I think Tesla's a buy down into that spot. So I want to look there, and I haven't. Oh shoot! Rivian broke below 20 bucks. I didn't. This would have been a play that I thought could have possibly held. So we'll see now today if 20 can play again. This could be a good break long here if and when we do take that. So I think Rivian, looking in and around Rivian at 20 makes a little bit of sense to me as well. So $19 to $20 here for Rivian could come into play here. So yeah, just looking at this little level as a possible buy zone for Rivian, 19 if we do get down there. But I don't mind a $20 break higher on AI and FSD news for Rivian over the last couple of weeks. So yeah, I don't know though. I'm not a buyer of Rivian on moves lower. I just would like to see what it does at this $18.50 to $19 area. But I think down into here is a good buy, 15, 14, 15 for Rivian if we can really fall back into the 200 period moving average. I like the stock. I think with, you know, more of this, their car is going to hit the road in 2026 with the R2. Hopefully we can see what winds up happening with RIVED. But yeah, Tesla for today I think is a long. Let's get it back to yesterday's close, 454-ish.
AWS unveiled plans to build a purpose-built AI and high-performance computing infrastructure for the U.S. federal government for the first time ever. The initiative is going to include up to $50 billion in investments. It's going to begin next year, and it's going to focus on secure U.S.-based AI and cloud capacity. We've been talking a lot about sovereign AI. This is exactly that. It's going to be about nearly 1.3 gigawatts of new AI and supercomputing capacity, and it's going to be added across AWS Top Secret, secret, and government cloud regions. Federal agencies are going to get access to AWS's full AI suite. We're talking about SageMaker, Bedrock, the Trainium AI chips that we've been talking more about from Amazon, as well as Nvidia-backed infrastructure that includes Blackwell. Third-party and in-house models as well are going to be available to the government. We're talking about Anthropic Claude, Amazon's Nova models, and custom deployed models. The goal is to dramatically compress the timelines, enabling hours-long, not days-long, AI-driven analysis, whether it's for military or other purposes. Adair, what more can you tell us?
I mean, I can tell you the company's talking about applications across cybersecurity, intelligence, defense, and drug discovery, but I want to mention this was announced on November 24th of 2025. Now, the reason we're talking about it now is because Trump yesterday posted on True Social at 4:18 p.m. this Fox Business article mentioning the investment. Now, if you click on the link of the article, this article was posted on November 24th, the day this was announced. The point I'm trying to make is this, it really seems like, and you can see this on the stock right at 418 when it's posted, this article gets reposted, we get this spike up, but I want to clarify, this is not new. I spent a lot of time looking into it. There are zero updates from the company or any other reports or entities. Cool announcement from Amazon. It is from November 24th of this year.
Necessarily new, but like a couple of people in the chat, the second I heard 1.3 gigawatts, my mind went to, well, you could certainly power a time machine with that. Because you only need 1.21 gigawatts, so you actually have a bit of a surplus there, which is cool. Amazon, we have like that graphic which I don't have access to, which is the poke me, do something.
I have it.
And Amazon for the last week, Sean's got it.
Do something.
Oh, there it is.
I find it.
So if you like trading in between 231 and 233, then this has been the perfect stock for you. It just needs to get a little nudge and break out. Ideally, you're breaking higher because no one ever wants stocks to go down. You only want them to go up. But this has one of the more distinct and clean ranges over the last trading week, where 33 is the literal high, unless you're looking at aftermarket action. Clean 233 top, relatively clean 231 bottom. There are a couple of wicks underneath the support, but I think you trade off of those today. Again, this catalyst doesn't necessarily mean all that much. It's not even grinding that much further than the overall market. We're essentially just up because the Nasdaq is up. But because that resistance is in there, it's the kind of breakout trade that, hey, you could have a quick little one and done. And if the market dips and we have a sell going into the open, then you've got a pretty clean double bottom, triple bottom, whatever you want to call it, down at the 231 level. So I think you just wait for the key levels to show you the trade here on Amazon. On a daily chart, it even looks more ridiculous how condensed it is, right at the 50-period moving average. So this is a stock where if it does ever close above like 35 or so, I think you got a nice ramp. Just like Meta, this is probably better for swings and stuff in the new year than it is right now. Right now, it's pretty boring, but we have an outside chance. We're 50 cents away from that breakout, which does put it in place. 7 minutes before the open, there's not much that's actually setting up for a flat top break. There was, I mean, Novo had that flat bottom break potentially. Amazon's kind of the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Amazon, good talk there. I do think that Walmart, if we're just going to talk about, individual stocks here and, potential moves for the new year and for a space that I like would be for Walmart. I don't necessarily love the retail side of things, but Walmart with a nice move down in about 7 or 8% off of its all-time highs. I really like Walmart, and unfortunately, I like Costco in this space as well, but they are just, they have this tariff battle right now with the administration. I don't know if they're going to win that. I mean, the tariff tantrums continue, really. There's still that Supreme Court. Like, I don't know when and if that ruling is ever coming down about the legalities of all this, but if President Trump is going to start sending out, checks again based on the tariffs that they're collecting, I don't think anything's going to be getting reversed anytime soon. Maybe we had seen the bottom there for Costco off the nice little week there, move off of 840 back up to 860, 880. It looks like we got into 875. So let's just see if this area wants to hold for Costco. We haven't spent too much time underneath this 850, and when we did, it was bought right back up kind of both times here. So we'll see about Costco, but this has been a downside. So I think Amazon continues to be the real winner in this space. I like Amazon because they do have the delivery service kicking now, and Walmart, they have the delivery service kicking, and I think they could compete a little bit there with Amazon on price and on logistics and on pocketbook, really. I mean, Amazon continues to go with AWS, and they can get a little sidetracked maybe from their retail side. So if you do want a pure player, why not just hit up Walmart in and around this 110 area? Unfortunately, our charting shows the split moving over from the Nasdaq. So just hold on one second. This is what Walmart looks like this year. I mean, it's obviously been a big winner. We talked about some of these other names not even being up on the year. And Walmart, a name that we all know and love, is 92.50 or so at the beginning of the year, up to 111 right now. So about a 20% or so move on Walmart this year. So any drop, I said 110, but a drop into this 108, 109 area, I think you just got to keep on, picking up some Walmart every time it drops just a little bit, with a little bit of a dividend behind that as well. So yeah, yay Walmart. And I prefer them in the retail space to Amazon, but I like Amazon probably better as a stock because you get some of the AI play, but to diversify your portfolio, why not hit up some Walmart?
You know what you can do, actually, if you don't want to own Amazon, like a really cool blend is just own Walmart and Google. Like that actually gives you pretty much everything Amazon gives you, but maybe a little bit better in some ways, but that's just a thought. Microsoft might be all in focus, but before we get to that, I just want to show you the imbalance locator, or lack thereof imbalances.
Right.
This is about as light as I don't even remember it being this bad on some of the other holidays, or it's this light, like NEO 200,000, and then the only things over NEO at 200,000 to sell are 2 penny stocks. So like Nike is 160,000 to buy, and that's the biggest of this, and BIL's an ETF. The biggest notional imbalance is 160,000 shares on a $61 stock. So very, very light. We'll see at 928 if anything changes, but I wouldn't expect it to. Let's talk a little bit of Microsoft, and we got 3 minutes till the last close of 2025, or open of 2025.
SoftBank has completed the $41 billion investment in OpenAI, securing an 11% ownership stake. The deal ranks among the largest private funding rounds in history, with SoftBank's capital deployment coming in stages. It was an initial $7.5 billion in April, $11 billion from co-investors, and then the final $22.5 tranche in late December. Of course, Microsoft remains one of OpenAI's most influential backers, having invested $13 billion to date and deeply integrated a lot of OpenAI's models into Azure, Copilot, and other enterprise software. At a rumored $1 trillion IPO valuation, Microsoft's stake could be roughly worth $270 billion. In SoftBank's move comes after it fully exited the Nvidia position earlier this year. Just to give you an idea here, though, there is an advertising push and monetization from OpenAI. So OpenAI is apparently actively exploring advertising models to monetize its massive free user base, which is about 900 million weekly active users, by the way. The proposed formats are going to be as follows. It's going to be contextual product recommendations within the responses, and then there's also going to be delayed ad placements that appear later at the end of the session, and only about 5% of users of OpenAI's ChatGPT are currently paying. So monetization here could be important to Darrow.
Yeah, and it's also worth noting here, ad margins here are expected to be roughly comparable to Meta's 80 to 85% gross margins that could actually generate up to $110 billion in annual revenue by 2030 from non-paying leaders. This also comes, non-paying users. This also comes after we had this report yesterday from the Financial Times saying that Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella is going into quote-unquote founder mode with regards to his AI push at the company.
That they're going to have margins in advertising the way Meta does. But you have to remember, Meta has they have a pretty strong stranglehold on the space relative to their peers, which I don't know that OpenAI has. I mean, Gemini is fantastic. You got Perplexity. There's Grok. There's a little bit more competition there. So I'd be a little bit skeptical about that. I don't think Microsoft is too much of a trade today unless you see a bounce off the 200-period moving average. And I think that's going to be relatively unlikely. As said, we're going to be looking at some chip names, and silver is going to be in play today. We had Nike as well, which I'd be looking for some kind of maybe a dip back to try to fill in the gap and see if it can go. But let's be real. It's the last, I said close, but I mean open of the year. Volumes might be a little bit lighter, but that doesn't mean that there won't be movement. We saw that yesterday on light volume. There was all kinds of movement in silver, particularly crypto as well. I didn't even get a chance to talk about Bitcoin because I'm looking at BMNR and IBIT today. 50.80 on IBIT because we can't seem to get through 90,000. And then if we get up there, I'm looking at the 29 level on BMNR, which has been all kinds of resistance recently. So just around the 29 level, that's been a fade pretty much every single time it gets up there. We got the opening bell. No big imbalances, remember, but 4, 3, 2, and 1, and our final session of the year has begun.
Yeah, I'm going to try to, so I'm just going to short DJT right off the bat. Like, I know I wanted to get a little interested in this, but I'm going to short it right now and just try to give it to 13. So if we break above, like, let's just go 13, 16s or so, then we'll get out. I'm going to try to short a little bit more here at 89. Excuse me, if it does pop. But there's the Nasdaq pulling back in. So NVDA right now. Oh, bless you. There you go. I hope you got that mic off there. Okay, good. And so NVIDIA goes right down into 189. And we did say that this was potentially going to be a dip buy opportunity right there at VWAP, but we don't quite get there. And here we go, man, ripping right back there to the upside. The Nasdaq trying to go as well. But there goes NVIDIA upside as expected there with a nice little range to start with, down to 189, back up to 189.82 right now, a nice 70 cents or so move there. I did put on here Rigetti as well. So this is on the watch list today, Rigetti, and I was looking at 2150 maybe as a bottom note there for RGTI as we wait to see. That's been the low. That's kind of where we were yesterday, 2150. Let's see if that can hold. But okay, looks like we might take a hit here. Yeah. Oh, silver's. Yeah, we can go over to
Tesla.
Oh, Tesla. I was going to say silver too, but here goes DJT. It looks like it wants to get going just a little bit. Almost stopped out there. I think we will probably get stopped out. We are short right now, DJT. Let's see what happens up near here, near the top of DJT.
So a couple of things going in opposite directions. The Nasdaq pulling back a little bit here. Tesla testing 453. Yeah. Meanwhile, you've got Nvidia and AMD churning, so upside through 190 on Nvidia. AMD, I said I would allow it to show me a top wick, which it just did at 217. So if it does what it did yesterday, which was top wick, fall, retest, lower high, did that a couple times. That's the setup.
Wow, there goes
while in silver, it's getting close. I wanted 66.5 to 67 to play for the short. It's about to break out at 66. So you're getting pretty close to the levels that we like on SLV. Yeah, nothing too crazy as well. I was looking at, what did I write down for DJT? It was the $0.50. It wasn't going to be something I wanted at the open, but it was 13.5. So that's actually getting very close. As well. So yeah, something's starting to come into that upside. Specifically, the chip names are the strongest. Nasdaq's pulled back a bit, but Nvidia and AMD are both at their highs. So you've got strength, and it happens to be in the chip market. If you're just tuning in right now, DJT was like this token story DJT token or.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like one token for every share or something like that.
They don't have a name for it.
Oh, they don't?
You got to name it something cool.
How about the token of truth? I mean, I think that would be a good.
Truth token would just be very simple.
Yes, it would. That's what we're doing. Simple stuff.
You got to have a hook.
Yeah, you gotta reel them in. Okay, so I'm gonna try. Again, like all I'm really doing is trying to think about where the momentum could possibly be in some of this play right now. The market, as we do know, it just turned red again right now. So I'm going to play off of VWAP and this 200 period moving average and just try to go long. We did buy a little bit a minute ago and then it dropped back in, so into the level that we actually won. So pretty happy with our average price, 54.09, which was a little bit better than what we have right now. But we're short the TQs and there goes the position board again. But we have the TQs right there at 54, and then we have 54.20 as well. So if this drops below 53.90, I'm just going to get out of this and just say, you know what, maybe the market just isn't doing the dance today like we had potentially thought it would have. And I was thinking basically just back and forth a little bit, trying to take advantage of this move down by buying, but there goes silver again, up. I know you just talked about it, but up a little bit there. So I don't know, man. Maybe the best thing to do is wait just a little bit. So I'm only going to give this one, like I said, there we go. Now we're at the better price. So we just did get that long. So now we're basically long at VWAP where you need to be at $54. We're only going to give it 10 cents or so. So if we break below 53.90, we're just going to get out and say, you know what? Let's let this market settle down a bit here. It's only 4 or 5 minutes in. You do have those morning imbalances trying to settle out as well. Right now, DJT just went up to the upside. So there that goes, blowing through that top of the morning. And so hopefully we can see if there's any sort of trade back through now on DJT, and maybe we can short, this break one more time, 13.10 or so if it does break down. But we'll get out of DJT as we tried that short, only to watch it continue to move a little against us and go higher there. So yeah, just 0 for 1 on DJT there on the idea, and then now we'll have to wait to see if we put another move on to TQs.
AMD is absolutely tanking.
Oh, is it? Is Nvidia tanking? That's what I want.
No, not really. Now that's a frustrating thing. I liked AMD a little bit better. DJT just took out the highs, so there goes 13.45, which was the local high up here. Still have yesterday's tops, but look, man, that's one. I'll take multiple shots fading this one. I'm just very skeptical. If you're comparing it to what happened on, I don't know, what was the name of the fusion company? Whatever. The merger with the fusion company, that took it like $6 to the upside. This is a much more muted move. On a day like today, I would suspect it's not going to be as strong. AMD did do that curl, but I said I wanted to wait for like that confirmation on the second candle. It tried, don't get me wrong, it tried to get to the $0.50, but it just turned right in front of 216.40. I was sitting there pretty much at 50. I don't need to be sitting there anymore. I tried to grab it on the second candle at about the $0.50, and AMD's already headed back in. So AMD almost back to flat, whereas I'll show you Nvidia, that's continuing to break higher. So I think it's the right play if you're going to fade something, short something in the chip space, to look at AMD instead of Nvidia, which continues to climb. Of course, they had the TMC head. I guess headline and a bit of a tailwind there for Nvidia. But I'm looking for AMD to show me that lower high again. I'll take my shot over there. Silver still at about 30 cents before I'm looking short.
And nothing's happening, but I'm just going to use this cool graphic. We did take some out there at 13s right there. We took out about 15 or so % as we made that move back up. So it's still, the reason why I want to talk about it is I'm not reloading it, and that was a win there, which could turn into an L as the market, because Apple, I was looking at Apple too, like I was like, what are we doing with Apple? That's coming back in right now just to watch what the futures are doing. So there we go. So there goes the TQs. So that one, from getting in to getting out on the futures play now, maybe it is just a short for the day. Look at this market, man, really coming in here. So yeah, like we just had a couple shots there on DJT for each of us. Not great there for me. But Palantir, I don't know, everything. I don't think this is supposed to be a weak day, but you're now at VWAP. So I think the best thing to do is maybe.
Usually we slide.
It's to stick with this.
Anecdotally, usually this is a relatively strong glide up kind of day, but maybe it's just a little bit different here as, we're really starting to bleed.
I'm going to try one more time.
0.2% to the downside, however. I just wanted to quickly go over Tesla for a quick little second here, guys. Tesla has rebounded nicely, so forget about 444. It's bouncing off 452 and looking a little bit stronger than the market. Some higher lows being made there. All right, silver is getting pretty close. So silver getting close, SLV I should say, getting very close to the 66.5 level. This is where I'm going to start to look for the mean reversion trade on SLV. Only down 4%. It was down as much as 6% earlier, nowhere near 2 days ago when it was down 10. But still, bit of a red day for silver. Early move. It's just the opposite of the market. So if the market catches a bid off some of the VWAP here, I would suspect silver can do a bit of a pullback. And DJT went right to 13.5 and pulled back. Shouldn't have put my stop at the high of the day. 1350 is the level. If I get in again, I have to at least give it to that.
Okay, so I'm going to, I just said I'm going to try the futures one more time, just seeing if we had, hit some of these lows and see if we, well, here it goes, see if we can't bounce off of it, but it doesn't look like, I'm just going to be stopping out on a break here of 70. I only wanted to give this one a couple cents. Maybe we can go a little bit lower, but yeah, it's not looking like it wants to get back to the upside here. So we'll just have to go back over to things that we were looking at earlier. That was Rigetti. If that can fall back in here as well, maybe there's going to be something to look at. Okay, now we're starting to, what am I long at here? 77s? Okay, we can put like an 80. Let's put like an 84, 85 fill here, just in case. There it goes. Give me that 84, please. No. I asked nicely, though. We'll see if it, there you go. Oh, let's see if we can get it one more time. One more little, nope, okay. One little bump up, and maybe we get out of, I'm going to try to get out of, actually, I'm trying to get out of 10% here. At 84, there it is, we get it. So that's good. So the average in has worked a couple times only for it to lose on us. So we do want to make sure that we are capturing some kind of profit here on this move back up, because we've been hit, trading today, going longs on the future. So we'll try it again. I'm going to wait at 88, and then hopefully we bust a little bit higher. I do want to take another shot on DJT, but for right now, we tried it early there, and it just broke through basically that sort of that pre-market high. So we'll have to wait to see if it gets going. But yeah, Qualcomm, JP Morgan, we can look at some of the banks. SoFi is an interesting level at $27. I noticed that was down in and around there today as well. Got to 26.90 and then faded back out. So maybe strength in the market pushes SoFi back to the upside. JP Morgan, Citigroup, all these names just kept on going up. What a great year for the banks in 2025. And we're hearing, good things about them moving forward as well. Whenever the sector is like at all-time highs, you got to think positively about it. And JP Morgan probably benefits in a rate cut environment as well, with some more certainty behind who's part of the Fed. Jerome Powell is still going to stay on as governor most likely. So we'll have to see what happens with that play as well. But all right, the futures just faded right back out again. So it went to 88, which is where I was waiting, and we didn't get filled. So if we can get that fill again, we'll take it. But for right now, yeah, it is downside here in the market, and it looks like it wants to continue to go. I mean, I love buying some Google on dips. We'll see if maybe that's something to get excited about here moving forward.
Yeah, if we keep going lower, that Amazon 231 might actually come into play.
Yep.
Thought that was going to be more of a last-ditch kind of idea. The other thing coming into play, I said DJT, I should have been short in front of 1350 and giving it to that. I'm back into it. My stop is going to be at that $0.50. Nvidia is almost pulled in the entire gap here to prior resistance, so it's close.
Okay.
This is one I didn't really think it was a high probability we'd see this kind of a move, but 188.5 is going to be the area that I'm looking for a bounce here. DJT, again, we already told you guys the story. Should never, it's just a wick. 13.5 was kind of the level I was looking at, that $0.50, and it turned around a second time. So it was in too early, stopped out. I'm in it again. I think VWAP is going to be a place to start taking some out. So I'm going to get on the bid at VWAP, see if it goes further. But 13.50. That's the key level. Silver is already turning as well.
Boo.
Yeah, that's
turning down. Okay.
Well, that's not. Yeah, it's not boo. Boo is the not getting the curl. So I didn't short exactly at 16.5. I let it make the top, and then when it opened weaker, started trying to chase it down a little bit here. But it's higher highs and higher lows, which does mean I should get a second shot if we continue this pattern here on SLV. So it's that, Nvidia, DJT. Nvidia's again getting very close to that 188.5. I'm trying to be patient about this because we're streaking to the downside. I don't necessarily want to catch the falling knife. I'd rather see some sign of a bid and then get involved. And look at, I see Jesse in the chat talking about a name. We didn't even talk about the memory names like Micron, down 2% as well. So even weaker than some of the other chip names. Micron actually was That was,
I like Micron, but
it had good volatility yesterday as well.
Okay.
Like it was Micron and Intel. Those were the two better chip names if you were looking for movement yesterday.
Oh yeah, Intel.
Today, Nvidia is really moving, so I guess we wanted to focus on that or AMD.
Yeah, let's look at. So I'm still long.
Intel was yesterday.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was going to still look because they closed that Nvidia deal, right? $5 billion. Okay, so yeah, like I had mentioned Tesla into this area, probably something to look at, but you know, just it's. Right now, and I'd hate to say it at 9:42, but you know, we got to watch the volumes, and you got to make sure that you know the stocks that we're trading are doing. That's why I'm looking at the Qs here, and we're looking at DJT, and we got Nvidia on our mind, and all those kind of names right now. But what about Tesla? It's just hovering here at 455, looking to do something. I don't think it's worth putting on like a big amount of shares or anything here on a day like today, especially when it's this choppy. And if you're going to have a loss on a stock, hopefully it's a small one, because I don't know how much action you're going to have unless we get, and I'm still plugged into the news here, unless we get some sort of a news story here. But Tesla, I was going to say this bottom maybe a 4, like give it to the very bottom. What about 453.50? Like, so you could just wait in here into this range to see if it does come in, fill you, and then use some of that as a bottom. Or, you know, our job is a little different here because we're trading like in the pennies and the dollars and everything like that. But this is not a bad hold area down here at 452. So if you wanted to start a little small on Tesla, but the market's going down, so maybe the short is the other way. But either idea would be shorting here around 456 and maybe taking it out. If you take that top at 457, that's about $1. And then this way, the same kind of thing right now. If you're going to go long, if we drop back in, then you're going to give it about $1, $1.50 down to 452 as well. So just something to watch out for here with Tesla. Trying to hold on, but not hold on for dear life, right? Like if these, I think this is a good example here with the futures. We did get it to the upside. We have not reloaded it, nor do I think we need to. If we break through the low, then we can get out. And right now the low is 69. I'm just going to give this actually, let's give it to 64, just because I think it could wick it and then sort of pop right back up. So I don't want it just to break that exact low and then people say, oh, I'm punching out, and then right back to the upside. Maybe I'm not giving it even enough room on that break, but I'm going to do that, wait to see what winds up happening here, and then see here it goes. So there's the test of the low. We should be short, but we're not. Here we go. Let's just see if it holds this level, and if not, then we can jam out of this one ASAP. So that's what I'm doing right now. Just going to wait to see if there's some strength coming back in this market, but it doesn't really look like it. I mean, Bitcoin even, I was going to look there. It's 88.8 right now, was the high or so, and now it's at 88.6. So, you know, not much going on as far as HIBIT is concerned if the chart loads today. Oh, actually, I guess we must have, maybe we had a little bit of a run there on IBIT, but it's, what the, oh, sorry, yeah. No, not really.
Not really.
Just fading back out a little bit here on IBIT. I don't know, man. Not really trading that much. We can go over, we'll go over to Neil, and then we'll check out our little stock screener there and see if there's anything that you guys are hitting.
Quantum is making, Quantum.
Okay, well, I wanted to look at Rigetti.
I don't know if yeah, Adair is saying there's not actually news on Quantum, but they don't necessarily need news. Nvidia was just
There goes the market lower
but
there.
You're just not getting much of a bounce in here off of Nvidia. It was able to get, like we bounced off this prior bar low, but now you're starting to lose the bid. We were trying to get back through 189, and we did break 189. I'm in here at 88, 86. Oh, that's, yeah. I'm in here at 188.86 because you guys can't see the position board, but we're right at that support level. If we break down underneath, I got to jump out of it, and is what it is. Like I tried to bounce here. This is the line we wanted. We need to re-engage above, otherwise it's no mas. The market just incredibly weak right now. I did get into the first leg of silver. If we break that, again, if we break the $0.50, in SLV, I should say, not silver. SLV. If we break the $0.50, then I'm going to be out. Was just looking to play these lower highs. And then DJT, it is coming back. I re-engaged in the trade, got stopped out early. Now we're looking to come right back into the lows at 12.8. So at least this one, I mean, it's following the market. I mean, it doesn't, DJT shouldn't necessarily care what the market's doing, but it is following the market at this point. Pretty much everything looking weak. And shout out to everybody in the chat that has been mentioning the quantum names. I'm just curious as to, like, what's our, you know, because I see Rigetti going back red just like everything else. So I'm not really seeing anything terribly crazy here. Like I'm just going to throw up ION Q. That one somewhat strong, but nothing too crazy. Like nothing, like it's not out of bounds here. Like it's 1% to the upside. You're not really going parabolic or anything like that. So I'm not seeing anything crazy except for this move downside overall in the market.
Yeah, I was going to say probably shouldn't be doing too much today.
There's not much.
The Qs fell down. I wrote down Nvidia 188, 187.50, so that came in. So we'll play a little bit there and see if there's something possibly brewing with NVDA. But yeah, maybe it's selling season, as someone just wrote in the chat there today, as we do head into a New Year's Eve trade that has generally been pretty light. And obviously, with today's volumes, we can just check out what the average daily volume looks like on some of these things. But I would say it's probably pretty light right now. So yeah, Nvidia downside. We'll play off this 188 level and see if it can maybe rally the market a bit. We'll get back in and then just give the Qs like 5 or so more pennies off of this low. And then if it continues to blow up, then we'll get out of the TQQs as well. But 53.50 coming into play over there. And yeah, just not much going on today trading wise. We can check out what Oracle's been doing. Maybe we can go back over to Tesla as the market doing its thing. We're into Nvidia. That's starting to go a little bit. We're about 20 cents in on that one. But the fade continues to hit this market as Oracle down near the lows of the day. Did our Tesla sort of idea hold there? Yes, it did actually. So if we said about getting long into this area, you'd have had a nice little windfall so far if 50 cents is your cup of tea, but I don't think it is. I think you're gonna wanna try to take maybe less shares and wait for a move to develop. Uber around that $80 mark was a buy. I know it's a little higher than that right now, 82 and change. So maybe we could make something of that move higher there if it does want to bounce up. But
Nike's
we said
starting to base out.
I was going to say we would look. Okay, Nike might.
Remember there was so the story with Nike. If you're just tuning in now, everybody, Elliott Hill, CEO Elliott Hill, buying 1 million shares, and I was waiting for it to fill in the gap. Hey, look, it filled in the gap to the overnight lows and is making a higher low. So at least that's setting something up that I can play off of here, because nothing else is. Silver is still doing a bit of a dance to 66.5. It broke it. Now it's back through. DJT broke 13, but there's somebody holding it in like the mid-90s right now, like 12.97, 12.98, at least temporarily. So that next leg to the downside might have to wait. But Nike off this higher low is looking pretty good. And I'm not that bullish on Nike outside of like the very short term, but I think there's room to at least get to maybe that 63 again here today, if not the 64. But the market's going to need to do some help as well. So if we can break out above VWAP, that's one way to play it. But I'm going to look to play it off of 62 first. And yeah, you're just waiting for stocks to get to key levels. And if it at least gets there, then you can make that trade and not try to fight away from those price levels. So DJT, just going back to it, don't have to always sit right at the exact support level, but early on, no good. It's looking much, much better now. I don't know if it plunges all the way back where it came from. It tends to find some support even on the way back in, but the typical move on DJT is to fade any kind of a news bump when you reject early. So at least that's starting to work in here. And we did get a super chat.
Oh, good.
And that's from Ivan.
Finally starting to go here.
And shoot, where's my thing? Oh no, is it working? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I might have to refresh.
Does it show up? There we go. Looking at the RSI, has SMCI bottomed and created divergence? Now, I'm going to tell you right away, I don't have the RSI up. It's not an indicator I use primarily day trading. However, just from a complete support and resistance notion, let me stick with the daily chart. You're pretty much and almost at a pretty significant low here. You're not there, like 28 is the bottom, but then the local bottom is about 29. So you're getting very close to some interesting supply on SMCI. It's, in my opinion, it has like $1 before it really gets there, but you are getting pretty close. So that's what I look at support and resistance a bit more than just the RSI. And I don't even know what the time frame you're looking at is for RSI. Like I'm looking at a daily chart, making the assumption that maybe that's what you're looking at too. I think it has another $1 to go, and I think it's incredibly weak relative to its peers, and I don't particularly like the stock either from an investment standpoint, if that helps.
I was going to say, check out Dell if you're interested.
Yeah, there's a better stock.
I think it's probably a better stock run.
Well,
maybe a little bit better run there. You got some Michael Dell action.
Maybe a little bit better run
there. Plus, you know, Michael Dell does have the good graces of the president maybe off of those support that they gave for those new accounts. We got some Nvidia, but right now we do want you to check out some exciting news that is here in Canada, and you got to scan that QR code to get the Beta Pro by Global X Action, betapro.ca/3x daily. These are 3 times daily levered ETFs, of course, 3 times bull and bear exposure to the S&P TSX 60 semiconductors and U.S. Treasury, and this is the last day actually for their fee adjustment down to 65 basis points. This is a U.S. strategy. That's their management fee. This is a U.S.-focused strategies that use currency hedging. So if you're worried about, what the U.S. dollar is going to do against your Canadian dollar, and you still want to trade the equity, get over there, check out Beta Pro, buy Global X, and we want to thank them for their continued sponsorship of the program. So thank you, and go check it out, yo. Looks like the only stock that's winning for me today, well, we've only traded 3. We'll get back into DJT at some point, but there goes Nvidia finally making nice little levels here as we wrote down the dip buy into this name was something that we'd be interested in. So there it goes. We'll take out a 60 there as well as we continue to get a little higher. We were very, very patient with this. We knew we wanted to get a relatively stronger name in yield portfolio, so we do that. We do that with Nvidia as that goes in there now right back up to the upside and making a little bit back now. We had to wait. We had to be patient for it. That's a keystroke error right there. It did not break through 50s. We bought that back again. I meant to buy more, sold, bought it right back immediately. So there's a nice move back up to the upside into VWAP. We're still down on the TQs, so it's not. We'll get back to the futures when hopefully they get to green for us. But we are down trading the Nasdaq today because we went long early. We did buy this dip, and we were just trying to be patient with it. So far, so good there. The trade that I know I missed now, thinking what this future is, well, it's still there, is just this Tesla bottom. I don't think that's going to hold, and definitely don't want to buy Tesla if I'm already long Nvidia and the market. So I'm going to hold off on that. Get a drink of water here. As it looks like the Packers will face, we might be in for a great first weekend because you guys might face the Patriots and we might face the Bears, which we'll beat the Bears, but I'm worried about the Patriots Bills. I'm not worried about it. I think that's going to be a great game.
I always see it. The way I always see it, you got to go through the better teams to make it anyway.
Yeah,
so
I think
whether you play them in the first round or second.
Better to get over with. I think that's a big confidence boost for the Bills if and when they wind up beating them. So
I'm not a huge fan.
Still 2 weeks away.
I understand what the Chargers are doing. It just kind of sucks. The Chargers are handing the Broncos the 1 seed by benching the quarterback. But that's just part of the game.
Yeah, it's part of the game. I mean, the Broncos also, we'll see what winds up happening. Weirder things have happened in the NFL, of course.
Just very quickly, DJT has made a bit of a curl. It's back to VWAP. I might take another shot at this to the short side, but if I do, it's one of 2 things. It's either waiting this time for 13.5 to get there or allowing VWAP to start to hold. So it does a curl. Whoops. It does a curl, kind of an obvious reversal. Like if you see a candle like this, like as if I'm not punching out when it makes that bottom. I'm not going to wait for the extra 10 pennies when it's showing me a bottom there. So I just jumped out of that one. I'm over into Nike on the long side, but just very quickly, something is happening on AMD.
Oh, wow. Hopefully going up.
Well, yeah.
Pretty good.
Not just hopefully going up. This is very different from yesterday's trade. Like yesterday, it was putting in a lower high. It was initial short off the 217 worked, and then it was a lower high. This time it is very, very strong and heading to 1% higher. So just wanted to point that out, that the chips are coming back, and it's AMD showing a lot of the strength. So Nike ends up not getting the higher low, but playing off the volume weighted average price. I'm gonna look for a push into the open top. That's here, so this is the pre-market. The open top is 62.8 to 62.9. So I wanna be out of all of it on that kind of a bounce. Still a downward trending stock overall. Again, headed to that downside. Still want to be in that DJT, but I feel like patience is going to be the way to go. As the market bounces, for whatever reason, this is also following the market.
Okay, here we go.
So if we get back to the highs, I'll wait for a curl. Do not want to get in on the front end again. Allow it to make the top and then try to short it on the way back to the downside is going to be the play for me. And just one more name for you. Well, yesterday Intel was very strong. Today Intel is not.
Not so much.
When I look over, I'm like, AMD's not setting up for a short at all because it's now looking pretty strong. Well, you can flip over to Intel. Intel underneath VWAP, Intel down with the market. So instead of going over to the stock that is strong, I'll look for a VWAP play here because you don't get too many shots on this kind of a day, even though it's a full day. And there's a nice 37.5 area to play off of here with Intel.
I think it'd be cool if the 49ers, what's up to never always
You believe
ever
in it?
at home. I mean, they're at home for the Super Bowl.
believe it.
I don't know. I
don't
mean,
believe in San
Purdy's playing well. They have, you know, the best running back, and I don't know what their defense is up to these days. I haven't
Cap, he's not the best running
checked
back.
that out. No, maybe not, but we'll see. We'll see in the playoffs what CMC does right now. All right, so just right here, you know, Nvidia made them move higher. They're right into a level that we like. So, you know, in a day like today where we've been trying to go long, and I'm just thinking that it could be a range-bound day, we have to. When you get back up to VWAP, we really emptied out our clip here as well on the TQs on this move back higher right there. So that was a good out there, I think. And Nvidia might even been a better one. But I do like Nvidia long better than I like the market long. But, you know, a little disappointed in this fade today as we just thought that this could be one of the names that gets going. And the Nasdaq did give us like a little bit of a glimpse of hope there early when we broke through 25.7 and then, you know, just faded back down about 100 handles right now, back down to the downside. And if we do break that low, then we are out right now of all of these trades pretty much. Nvidia, I'm gonna give it a little lower than 188 because we were able to get out of the majority and then try to get a little longer at 187.75 or so, and then just play off of like sort of where we were yesterday, off of that closing area here, 187.50, 187.60 for Nvidia. So on a drop down, I don't want to get out of Nvidia. I actually want to buy more, but I'm going to give it a break of 188 just to wind up seeing what winds up happening down there near those levels. So that's going to be sort of my plan of action here early for Nvidia and just to see where it wants to go. But, you know, that's a little bit of a play for me there, and hopefully it bounces and we can get the futures to bounce as well. We said the stock visualizer would be something that we would take a quick look at, and so I know I called it up but didn't do too much work with it. INBS, Adara, what is going on with this one? This is one that many of us have talked about or looked at here today. 30 of you have asked about INBS. We'll double check that up, 98% right there. Micron, we hinted on that. We do have Nvidia, Sidious as well, silver, only down 3%. Yep, go ahead.
INBS, Intelligent Biosolutions, announcing a manufacturing partnership with Surma Johari MedTech. So manufacturing partnership there for a small cap biotech company.
The stock is going crazy.
Pacer Industrial Real Estate? Is that what, am I looking at the right one here? No,
INBS?
Oh, IM, sorry, I typed in IM.
INBS, Intelligent Bio. This stock is going absolutely ham. I don't know if it's gonna, I don't see the halt bands on it. That's weird.
No, what a surprise.
Yeah, usually, okay, no, we do, at Real Trading, we actually have the halt bands usually, but I'm not seeing it up here.
Halted twice. So
it felt like it got right up. Yeah, it's halted already to the upside. I thought it got to the band just visually for a second, but maybe that's not it at 820 and it just randomly turned off that level. Not sure, but 100% to the upside. Crazy, crazy volume as we speak. I hate you, AMD. Like that turn, yeah, good luck. As if, you're not getting that turn. Like the pullback, like the wicks on that candle are like 50 pennies, and then the initial push down was like $1 on AMD when it turned at that 217 level. Almost impossible, I think, to grab. You had to be short on the front end of that one, I think. But now, I said once we get to about this point on silver, that I can put up a trend line, like it's finally given me, there's 1, 2, 3 points on the trend line. We're gonna go to Adara for happening now because it's already 10 o'clock, but silver's gonna break trend. The second it starts forming a trend on the 3 minute, now it's breaking the trend. Let's go to Adara.
We're going to talk here about the last trading session of the year before we take a moment to thank our friends at Origenics, because there are millions of concussions but zero approved therapies. Origenics, which trades on the NYSE as OGEN, is advancing a new standard with its intranasal brain-first approach to concussion treatment. With an $8.9 billion market on the horizon, Origenics is positioned to drive what comes next. See what's ahead and book a meeting today. Take a look here at this market, which initially pushed up nicely, buoyed by the fact that we had these better than expected initial jobless claims, with the initial and continued jobless claims coming a little bit lower than expected. Then we get a drop though off the open right now, trying to find a little bit of balance and finding some support at this pre-market level of 685.30s on the S&P 500. Let's talk here about TSLA. Now, Tesla is on watch, of course, ahead of its Q4 2025 deliveries, which are likely to be reported very early in the month of January 2026. But the other thing I want to mention here with TSLA is Michael Burry coming out and saying, hey, I think the company is, quote, ridiculously overvalued, but noting that he is not short the stock. SLV on watch once again, gapping down following a massive push to the upside yesterday as we get CME raising its margins for the silver or metals once again, the margin raise to take effect tonight from what they've said. Last but not least here, NKE. This is the company's, another recent insider buy for the company. CEO Elliott Hill acquiring roughly $1 million worth of NKE Class B shares following insider purchases from Apple CEO Tim Cook and independent director and former Intel CEO Bob Swan last week. So Nike with not one, but 3 major insider buys over the span of a week. Back to you. Make sure to like and subscribe.
About that super chat or the poll.
I wonder if Ramin is dealing with something over there with that poll.
I'm trying to figure out
if she wanting to not be alone or anything.
Supposed to address
a genuine question.
With that there. It is, do you have IBS? So I don't know what, I hope everything's going okay over there, Ramin, but right here.
Not me.
No, yeah, sure it's not.
No.
Sure it's not you. And until you come over here and show everybody, like come over here and let us know. Because.
Don't show every.
No, people want to see her face, that's all.
Oh.
People love to see Ramin.
No one wants to be shown IBS.
No, let's not do that. But it's intelligent biosolutions, which is what everybody's been looking at. But a fun poll over there, Ramin blaming Fabian, of course.
It's literally not fun.
For that.
And if you don't know what it is, then
don't even maybe look it up.
yeah,
but,
I don't think you need to.
Yeah, we don't need to do
sure
that.
The chats are, you guys in the chat have probably heard
Circle.
INBS is going absolutely ham. That's
Yeah.
It's the stock, but there's also the AFJ for those that are looking. It's AFJK. This was that.
It was a couple days ago, wasn't it?
Low liquidity, crazy runner. That went ham. It is gapped up another 33%. It's still doing absolutely no volume.
Nvidia.
It's already halted once to the upside, but it's coming back in. So I guess it's technically in play, but no, not my cup of tea. Silver is about to do this curl for me. So I said I would draw the trend line when it formed, and we are now starting to break said trend line. You see that? I went to throw an order, and my trend line disappeared. That's an interesting feature.
Right. New feature, yeah.
There we go. So I hit save, but there's a trend line break. Give it to the prior bar high. I was in off this high before. This time I'm in off the actual trend break. So they'll give it to the local, like, as I said, I'll give it to the local high and see how far this scalp trade can go. Silver, I intend on being, hopefully this is something that can be a little bit more active and you can get like multiple shots at. But if we get back into the volume weighted average price, then to me that's going to be an out. Take some profit out in front. If the Nasdaq bounces, I actually think that might be good because as we've been going down, silver's been going up. So a bounce in the overall market, I think, would be a good thing here for SLV. Let us know what else you guys are trading because when I look up, I'm seeing the same things you are on the visualizer. We're already kind of covering the chips and maybe not Tesla. We haven't talked about Sidus Space, which is going to the upside. So we have a key for that. Sidus. Maybe not sending anybody to the moon, but the stock is up 10%, so why not? Good for them. They had an offering the other day. It was 3 days ago. I want to say it was probably, maybe it was on Boxing Day, I guess the offering might be.
Yeah, there was something, yeah.
It doesn't really, it's recovering nicely from that and trying to get back to the $3 level. Still an inside day easily here for Sidus, even being up 10%, hasn't busted through yesterday's high, so I think that's worth watching. If it's in play today or it's moving, then that's already a win. But you still have to wait for things to get to key price levels. So silver, first shot didn't work. This time actually waited for the trend to break. I would have been cool with this trend holding and then going along with the trend, but that's not what happened. It broke the trend, so I'm short into volume weighted average price, which is about 63 on SLV. I keep saying silver, but it is the ETF we're trading. And we get a lot of questions about that.
Yeah.
And I just want to point out the main reason that an equity trader at a prop floor is going to, here at Real Trading, is going to trade the ETFs, whether it's a TQQQ or SLV or IBIT instead of like spot Bitcoin or something else, is because your risk and your buying power and your account is it's always going to be by asset class. So therefore the ETFs are in the equity asset class, which you've built up. If you build up your futures account, then great, then go trade the futures. But if you've built up your equity account, why would you go trade over in futures where I'm going to have less BP and less risk? It doesn't make sense. So here you're going to trade. Most traders behave that way, where they're going to trade the account that they have the biggest cushion with or the biggest buying power. And the equity account means trade specifically in the ETFs. It's a big boon that we have all these ETFs.
Yeah, it's been a big look. Yeah, ETFs, there's millions of ETFs now. Basically anything you want, derivatives, or there's any sort of a different play over here. Look at Nvidia though right now. There it goes, man. This is going to be my money-making trade of the day. So thank you, Nvidia, for everything that you've come through with us here. And we just wrote down Nvidia, and we wrote down basically what we want to do, this 188 area. There goes Nvidia. We're long now. It's 65 cents in the money. And so I'm waiting at 95. Okay. So here we go. We should be able to get that fill now. There it is momentarily. So yes, sir, man, the bulls be kicking here on the name that you know and you love. It is NVDA. There it goes. Breaking through 189, right back to VWAP. We like this stock, and it going up the side, baby. What's up, Ozan? Hopefully you're doing well. This is for you right now. And we're doing pretty good over here. The TQs, I mean, with Nvidia starting to go now, why can't the Nasdaq really start to get on its horse as well? I mean, Apple's at the high of the day for themselves here. We'll see if the Nasdaq can get back to Greensville, at which point we will empty the clip most likely if we can get up to there. That'd be great. Apple, oh, sorry, not at highs of the day, just sort of at the session high right there for Apple. We did have that. That was like a big wick off the open, right? And most names went to that high side, then just started to go all the way down. So what you're looking to do is kind of break this early little level, not all the way up there, but just in and around here. I think that would be a good little long area to get through for Apple to help us with our futures position. We've cleaned out of about 40% of our Nvidia. I'm going to get out, now that I realize that I should be out of a little bit more, I'm going to offer this now, because if we think about it being range bound, we have the low of the day right into VWAP. So that's about as perfectly of a range as you're going to get on a day when I think could be pretty choppy. So there's another out for us at 99. So we're rolling with NVDA right now. It's still early in the day. It's only 10:08. So the fact that the market could roll over again, very possible, or we could get back to flattish, which would be nice for me.
Usually on this kind of a day,
yeah,
first half an hour, I usually feel like that's going to be the range.
Yeah. Yeah, so if we can play that range, I think that would probably be what's appropriate right
INBS.
there. Yeah, INBS just halted again. Nike downside, but would be a play there. Did it halt upside or downside?
It's halted upside. 870 is the current tap. It's halted at 879. Actually, the tap is going down. So if you're in this long, the theoretical auction price is going the other way. 855 now, and looking like it's going to open to the red. It doesn't mean, look, it's going to be a 5-minute halt or a 10-minute halt. So time will actually tell, but right now it's indicating almost instantly that you're going to get a down move, unfortunately, in INBS. Light liquidity, but good volume. 24 million, looking pretty good. So this hold of VWAP on Nike was trend up, but you're now starting to lose that trend. And once you confirm, like, I'm going to trend in and try to buy into the trend, now you're confirming the break underneath. My stop initially on a trend break is the prior bar, but once you actually have 3 points on the trend line, then I don't mind getting out earlier. If we get back above VWAP, I don't mind getting back into it, but not for now. So silver is at the volume weighted average price. This one is a couple of cents away from getting, both of these are a couple of cents from getting out, but one of them is the target, one of them is the stop. So second trade on silver was the first one using the trend line. And if it bounces off VWAP, there might be a long to be had back into some of these highs and just go scalping with SLV. Down 4%, but doing great volume here today. I haven't checked gold, but you should always be a little bit curious as to where the relative strength and weakness is going to be. And I see gold already through VWAP and already through some of the lows. You know what? That's going to make me, I'm just going to cancel, after seeing that, I'm going to cancel the bid on silver for now and just see what happens at VWAP. If gold's pressing through, let's see if this is actually going to bounce. And if it does, I can just kind of punch out manually.
Like, I'm trying to find out. No, nothing. That's what I'm trying to find out what's going on here. Okay, so on our trade rate here, we have the SPY, we have Tesla. We can have a quick little look at Tesla here. Okay, so, all right, I kind of laugh, a little bit here because this has been the play. We talked about getting long here and getting out here. Obviously, if the market falls out, you're not going to want to get long right now. But yeah, here it comes. The market's trying to come back in right now. So you can see the Nasdaq just trying to tick near these lows again. We're going to wait. We're going to wait to get a little bit longer on the TQs. But yeah, so it's Tesla. Neil just covered silver there. SPY, DVLT. What is that? DVLT here. We saw right here. So 67 cents. So a little lower. Yeah, what a surprise. 67. A little lower than where we are right now. But there it goes, man. Nicely cooking now. Up to 72 cents here for DVLT. Adara. There's a name for you if there's some news on that one. Micron, we did have a look there earlier as well. BIL is a treasury name. The Q's, obviously, yes, Adara.
Yesterday morning, they announced they're going to be presenting at CES 2026. That's going to start on January 6th with a keynote from CEO of AMD, Lisa Su, on January 5th. Either way, that was announced yesterday morning, so nothing today on DVLT, but Data Vault has run before. I knew the name the second you said it.
Perfect. Yeah, she knew all about that one. Thank you, Adira. All right, so presenting yesterday, we just see
CES.
Yeah, yesterday apparently there at the conference. All right, SOAPA halted. So here we go, man. I don't know if there's going to be news pending or what. Society Pass shares halted on circuit breaker to the upside. I'm not really seeing a circuit breaker there, but it looks like someone was ticking out at 346. So ultimately, we went up into here right now. We were trading 310, 320, and then it just broke. I don't know what was going on there, but a bunch of prints at 346 right now on SOAPA. So it looks like the tap right now is still 346. So waiting to see what happens on that one. This is our Halts scanner, something to be looked at this year and moving forward as well, as we do get many names halting, and you want to look at them, especially when we do have a little bit of a lesser volume day. Look at names that are halting and giving you those opportunities, right? And so ONDS, another name there, IBIT not doing a whole heck of a lot. AMD, we covered that a little bit. There's Sidious, SIDU, that's up 10% again. Follow through. They had that offering that was down at like $1.60. I guess that was very well received. Needless to say there for Sidious. So we'll wait to see if that one, continues to get bought up. It's a little scary there a couple days ago when it did dip into that. I think it was $1.65 or so. They raised a couple $1 million. Upside play now, looking to break through. Again, another space kind of name right there for Sidious. So we'll see if that goes in. There we go. We did get a little longer at 55 or 54 there on the Qs, and takes them out here as we get going just back in. If we can take 10 cents on reloads, we should probably do that, especially because it's a little slow here. Okay, there we go. Yes, sir. Good move there back for the Nasdaq. So we'll take that 10 times out of 10. Let's go a little higher now as we get basically the low of the day there, as we said we were doing. We said we were waiting here again. So there it goes. Hey, give me those 68s. Now up to 69er, and we'll see if we can get something. Where's this 50 period? 80s? All right, sounds good to me. Let's go to 75. Let's go to 77. And we'll see if we can get something there on this little quick reload. Nvidia doing the dance at its own level as well. Yeah, we could get, that whole IBS thing is getting a little silly, but there it is right there. No, a lot of people do not have it, so that is always great. We went over, let's go, last day of the year, folks. Happy New Year. So happy New Year to you too. Awesome. Thank you so much for all your contributions this year. David, thank you so much for all of the super chats and all you've contributed to our chat. We look forward to more David's crazy trades of the day and all that kind of stuff
crazy
heading into the new year. No ideas.
I thought no. I think the ideas aren't crazy from David anymore.
Okay.
They're usually pretty reasoned.
Ooh,
but a couple
reasonable
of things,
trade of the day.
Yeah, I think a couple of reasonable trades. But also, I said I'd jump out of both of them, and it happened. Silver bounced off VWAP. So at least for now, I'm out of silver. I think there's going to be multiple opportunities. It hasn't confirmed that we're going back into the upside yet. I'd like to see a little bit of strength. Let me zoom that in a bit so you can see better. But you are starting to show strength off the volume weighted average price here for SLV. And then Nike, maybe it's a bit of a bottom wick, but I just jumped out when it broke this trend. So there is the trend line breaking. There's that, I guess the confirmation bar. I'm not shorting the stock. I get back in if it can hold VWAP or something a little better. SOAPA just opened back up. Good vol. It's only 4 million. Okay, never mind. I was about to say how good the volume was, but it's not nearly as good as it was the other day. So SOAPA opens up pretty much, pennies underneath the high, it seems, and kind of dying down on volume. I'd say disappointing there that you're not getting a volume follow through. DJT did not get back to that high for a second shot at 13.5. So now I'm looking squarely at VWAP. It's already put in one lower high at 13.25. If it can do it again, in and around here, I'd look for maybe the short the pop into another lower high on DJT in hopes that you get all the way down to 12.8. So waiting for this one to set up another trade. Thankfully, it gave a second shot. Otherwise, that was a pretty disappointing name earlier this morning. So I'm trying to be patient. Sometimes you don't get a second shot. Man, that is a cool look. I'm trying to figure out.
Where is that?
What is that?
Oh, that's the behind us.
Oh, I see. That's.
Can't see that. That is awesome.
So we can't see it.
We should try to do that on the main screen if we could.
Yeah,
do
like
that.
if you get the sense, like if I swing around, I'm not in any positions, it's not a big deal. If I swing around, there's like another desk here where I have monitors and we could face Adara and theoretically Brendan and Sharif. Well, if I do, I think I'm going to yank my microphone right now. I'm not really set up well to do it, but I can turn around and we talk and you guys see the picture in front of us there. So I don't know. What the heck? Oh, there it is. See, at first I'm like, what? I don't even know where I'm supposed to be looking.
We don't even know where the cameras are.
I don't know where the camera is. You can see our screens behind us, but we'll have screens in front of us that in theory are tied to the same computer. Right now, there's nothing here except for the monitors. Like there's no keyboard or anything. But pretty cool. Fabian, hard at work. Tesla, I can see, is up 0.03%, and then DVLT shows up on that list as well. So there's always more happening here at Trader TV Live. Hard work being put in. We appreciate you for sure. Man, silver just broke VWAP. Come on, I want one more shot at DJT.
Yeah, we got some upside there in the Nasdaq, but here goes INBS is now open. So now you're coming back in just a little bit here. We opened a little minute ago, but back into $8. We'll see if it wants to hold. It looks like it's coming back in. INBS making the move lower right now, just up 97%. So hitting the two. I mean, it's been really. This is a 21 period moving average. It's been respecting that quite okay so far. So yeah, maybe $8. Maybe buy this $8, and then if it breaks, you can get out of that one. INBS right now, definitely another halt candidate for sure, man. 27 million shares done on the day, and I bet you the float is nowhere near that. INBS right now, we'll have a quick little double check. Yeah, the float is 900,000 shares. So 950,000 shares, we've done 27 million. And apparently 100% of this is short right now. So yeah, you are going to get a little bit of a break here in the system on INBS.
I had this beef yesterday.
Yeah.
I said, like,
was it
why are we
Thai basil beef? Or?
No, but like silver is ridiculously liquid, and it goes SSR, and the uptick rule is in effect, so it makes it harder to short. But at the same time, you have stocks that are 100% short, which probably have naked short selling going on at all the time. Like, which is a bigger problem in the market? The fact that a stock that's down 10% and plenty liquid has people wanting to short it legally with actual borrows, or that you have naked short selling. Like, give me a break. Should we not be tackling the bigger problems? Like, allow trade to just be reasonable. As long as you have borrows, you should be able to short. That's the rule. Like, let that be the rule. Uptick rule. Anyways, I don't like the uptick rule. No. Can you tell?
Yeah, no, I cannot. All right, so we just got stopped out there. The futures did break the low again. So it's a good thing we did get some out here on the way back up. So not creating too much damage on the portfolio today for that, but definitely still red on the futures and just didn't get going. I thought we did pretty good with our risk management there. And like we said, man, we were getting nervous. Remember when I was like, oh man, we're only out, we got out more here as we hold less than half now of our Nvidia trade. That's coming right back in. Good couple outs there on VWAP on the 50 period moving average. I like that one there. And we will reload Nvidia if it comes and breaks in and around this 188. All right, it's 10:20. We still have 40 more minutes. We have the midday show. It'll be Obi and Sharif. Then we're back at 2. It's a full day on the market today. Womp womp. But thank you for joining us. That is for sure. We still have we had 7,000 or 8,000 people this morning, which is pretty good. We still have 7,000 watching, so make sure you do hit the like and then subscribe. We got to get to 550,000 subscribers, so help us do that here today as we'll wait and look for some more opportunities to trade. Did SOAPA just opened? Hold on a second before we go over to Adair. I just want to make sure. Yeah, so 344. So SOAPA opened up. They did have a huge move higher there that halted it, and now we're just hovering around these levels. The other stock that I traded earlier today was DJT. Now fading back in, but not much action as we went short in the morning, right against that low, or sorry, that high, broke through. Now it's kind of doing nothing. Let's go over to Adair's small cap recap.
Let's talk here about these small caps, even though, as Sean said, it's a full day for trading. It's also a day full of small cap action. Let's talk here about ANGH and GAMI. This one reporting earnings for the first half of 2025. Losses per share and sales improving on a year-over-year basis. That one was also featured on our morning watch list. INBS on Watch Intelligent Biosolutions, not IBS, trading higher here, announcing a strategic manufacturing partnership with Sirma Johari MedTech. Last but not least, NCL, Northand Corp. This story from December 22nd or 23rd, so certainly early last week, announcing that they've engaged some investors for strategic planning advisory services. So NCL continuing to move. It's been on watch pretty frequently, I think, since that news last week. So NCL continued play, but brand new stories here for ANGH and INBS. Make sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned here with Sean and Neil.
Thank you, Adara. And it looks like the all-day, it is an all-day trend, but it starts in the pre-market here on DJT is potentially breaking. So if I'm not going to get 1350, I say we a lot, but I mean myself. If we're not going to get back up to the highs, there was the news about 8:30. You got a bit of a jump at the open. It made a higher low, and then another higher low being put in right now. So I'm going to look short. I'm only looking short in DJT today. Sorry about that, but is what it is. But looking for the short as it's starting to confirm this bit of a trend break. Silver is also back at VWAP, which it was an out before. I'm looking for an entry as well there off the volume weighted average price for another short. So looking to see this close under the 3-minute, on the 3-minute underneath that trend line. Once it does, I'm jumping into the short there. And I do see this ONDS, which a lot of people are also talking about in the small cap space, and Adara has mentioned. This actually follows, I think it's Sharif rule, but I mean other traders probably talk about it too. You're holding both VWAP and up and higher lows and the prior day high. So this is actually pretty bullish going into the middle portion of the day. But it's not on my radar so much as DJT and silver. Again, my trend line is gone. There we go.
Yeah, DJT. I mean, I really like DJT there. We have some.
Well, I don't like DJT. That's the whole.
No. I mean, like to trade it. I don't really like the stock too much. All that news seems like they're a token. Come on, man.
You know what's going to be interesting though? If this thing gets back to $10.
Yes, that's what we're waiting for.
The defense. I don't want you to get the idea that I only would ever short this thing. This has a huge bid at $10. Any kind of SPAC tends to have support at the $10 level even after the combination, and it really double bottomed down there. If it gets down there again, I think it could be another opportunity. But for now in the day trade, we're fading this news on the token play, which we're just going to call it the truth token.
Yep, exactly. All right, so yeah, SOAPA, I don't know if you're able to find news on this at all, Adara, but SOAPA, we just had that they halted on a move higher there, and it was circuit breaker, so you moved up that 10%, yeah?
No news. The most recent story on this was from 2:30 a.m. yesterday, so it would have been yesterday's catalyst. They priced a $3 million public offering, and actually it turns out that was re-reporting from a story from Monday, so it's like 3-day-old news here on SOPA.
All right, so
weird.
Yeah, so society pass right there. We can puff pass on the stock, but it is going up. And if you're going to look at a longer time frame right there, obviously an offering must have been maybe well received there. But yeah, and so no news today exactly on this stock and why we would have halted randomly at 10.15. But yeah, good move there for SOAPA. I would say, barring not being able to find any news, just be careful. Like if you're long this, I saw Bronson there maybe in the chat was, just watch out for this 330, sort of the post-halt level that we bounced off of. So we halted up here at 346, we opened back up and it got hit a little bit to the downside there. And now it is right there right now. Crypto not doing a whole heck of a lot. We could look at IBIT maybe as a short. The market's been a short all day. And this is what Bitcoin's been doing. So womp there as Bitcoin continues to make a move lower there. And yeah, probably sitting on your hands today hasn't been a horrible strategy, to be honest with you. I haven't made too many trades. We had the DJT early. We have one trade here on Nvidia, which is good. And we just got another out right there at 76. So this is still a 50-cent winner. So we'll say those are good. That was a good idea. And it was my number one look. And then we keep on trying to buy out this, keep on trying to buy the futures here to see if there is a move, but it just hasn't been happening because I'm only looking long and we should have been looking short. Netflix was hoping to see something there, not moving as well. Netflix not doing a whole heck of a lot. Palantir's always moving, so let's have a quick look to see if that one's at 180. So good bounce level there, 179. And this is basically where I was sold my last little bit of Palantir. And it's just, the 50-period moving average, right? And so we had a good move. We tried to break through 200 again and missed it. Wow, what a good short that was. It got to 199 and now it's down $20 from there back into 20 bucks back into 179. So that's going to be a good move lower. And look at the future, look at the trend here on Palantir has been really beat up and fading off this 50 period necessarily hasn't been bad either. So you're getting into that. That's at 181 or so. So maybe we're getting close to that right now. If you're looking short, maybe Palantir does give you that continual trend move downside. With the market being down today, what we could look at is maybe some sector strength and see if there's anything going on there. We do have updates coming from Adara. So right into here, though, let's just go have a quick little look to see what's green today. Okay, nothing. So that's nice. So at least we're long.
Nvidia and Berkshire.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least we're long Nvidia, which is the one that's going. I don't know, what is this? Intel's up as well today. The communications sector, I mean, we only have 3 names on here, T-Mobile, Verizon.
Verizon.
Yeah, and yeah, Berkshire in the financials here. But Caterpillar, like everything is just
that didn't break the
little weak, but nothing too dramatic. Like nothing's really down 1 or even 2% today, other than some of the names that we've covered. So there goes the futures back upside. We'll take another piece out here at 69, and then wait for higher take here on the TQs as we got stopped out and we're back in. So it's just this market's for the birds. Let's go back over to Adara.
ESH Acquisition Corp. As you can tell by the name, this is a special purpose acquisition corporation. They have an acquisition plan. This was announced going back to mid-September of 2025. I haven't seen any updates from the company at all since then. So no news whatsoever. Market cap here, $88.5 million. Float of just over 1 million shares. Short float is completely insignificant. So not much of a short float here. It's like 0.24% of the float, less than 1% of the float. But again, that float is just over 1 million shares, guys. Back to you.
Mike the Rider was talking about lobsters in the chat. I'm like, what is going on? Costco had $400,000 worth of lobsters stolen.
What? Come on, Costco.
Someone's going to have a delicious New Year's.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's probably what it was, right? Yeah. All right, I like lobster. I don't know if we're doing any lobster. I told Marissa to get my daughter we went to Farm Boy and she got a shrimp ring the other day and she's loving shrimp rings. So she pounded that back real quick. So we'll probably get like a little cocktail shrimp action maybe there tonight.
We always do like a charcuterie plate.
Yeah, exactly.
Meats and cheese. My daughter's, that's literally her go-to. Like when we were in Europe, it's like, well, it was different in Rome because like pasta's so good, but we're in Budapest or anywhere else we'll go. If we eat out, all you have to do is just put a plate in front of her with bread, fresh bread, meat and cheese, and she's good to go. And they're like, what are you ordering? I'm like, that's what she's eating. Don't even worry about it. What are you going to do? DJT, it's at VWAP, but I'm not playing VWAP. Like my plan of action here was just trend break, prior bar. So I don't mind jumping back in underneath VWAP, but I need to see it go to the other side of the trade. Like last time, it was the second time through that worked better, and you're still putting in lower highs. So you got lower high, lower high, lower high, but I got to jump back in underneath VWAP and trend line. This was not a VWAP play, that was a trend line break, but it can still set me up for another short side. Still don't really see anything crazy that I'm a fan of. Like I looked over back at AMD, I'm just going over the list of things that I liked. Like AMD went from there was your chance to fade to all of a sudden, like look at this compression pattern in AMD. Like that's cool if it breaks out big one way or the other, but higher highs, higher lows, forming right into VWAP, that's really starting to slow down big time. Silver is attempting to make that reversal, so this might actually, if DJT isn't setting up next, then silver is, but instead of a short, it would be a long this time. Right, like you're now starting to break back up, there's your bottom, here's your trend break holding the volume weighted average price. So got short side before, but it's actually setting up a long this time for a scalp trade. Willing to be either direction in silver as long as it's moving. And the volatility, well, the volume and volatility has been there. Just obviously it's not going to move as much as it did yesterday at this point. That goes without saying.
All right, yeah, this was our, of course, my wife is always trying to do the best, and there it is. That was our charcuterie board there on Christmas. This is New Year's Eve, so we'll have probably something very similar to that as well. I kind of like the mixture of both. Maybe black if I had a choice, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't really. On pizza, black. I think for pizza, black olives.
Well, that's a good point. I'm a green olive.
You're a green olive guy, yeah.
But on pizza, I don't have a preference on pizza, to be honest.
No, okay. Yeah, I have black. Black would be that. Okay, look at this. There goes NVIDIA right now. Yes, sir, man. An awesome trade right there. So finally, we get something going here on NVDA as it goes right back there up to that upside. And we'll be fine with it, man. We'll just wait to see now if it wants to take out even higher levels than this. I mean, it's not even really going yet, NVIDIA. So maybe it does. It's up 1%. It was up 1.5%. It got to 190.30s or so. So we'll see if that can get a little bit higher. I'm at 189.17s, which is like right into here, which is sort of that last little wick high. Okay, well, maybe we get to there, maybe we don't, but that's what I'm gonna wait for there on NVDA and just see if we get, I mean, maybe this area is a little bit too frothy, but that's okay. Hopefully it does get going back up there to the upside. So a good little winning trade there for me on Nvidia. So hopefully that can just keep on going. Nothing else really. We just got a AFJK halted again, and it looks like it's back open now as well. So oh yeah, that's a stupid stock. Only because it's it's $4 spread there. We're not going to do that. So far so good on SOAPA. That's not doing anything as well. And then that INBS, which was moving around there, Intelligent Bio, looks like it wants to actually go the other way right now. Okay, so Nvidia, actually I'm gonna take some out at 02 now. I didn't quite get to it. I'm gonna cancel my 17s now and just say, you know what, we'll give up that 15 cents and see if we, okay, well now it's actually starting to head back in just a little bit here in Nvidia. So we're out already of about 65% of this trade, and you know we got multiple VWAP prints there, so we got to be happy, you know, when we're able to do that. And then we just got a little bit more out on the Qs as we popped into this level again right there. So yeah, just back and forth buying and selling on all of this. It's kind of a crappy day for going long. There hasn't really been much other than some of the stocks we've been covering and the halt names and whatnot. But Rigetti, I like that name down here near 22. We didn't want to take it real early, but it did give you that wick down to 22. So maybe if we can get that again, could be something. Rigetti on the daily chart looks pretty good down here. We talked about a flat bottom break into the 200 period. So that's only 20 bucks. Not that far away. I really like Rigetti down here if you're going to buy some quantum names, just because we've been sort of barcoding and looking to break out. We said that Meta had a possible breakout opportunity. We didn't think it was going to be today, but it's been barcoding for a minute as well. Microsoft, yeah, so this is just coiling up. The tighter this coil gets, right, the more it's going to spring one way or the other. So bad news is definitely going to be bad for Meta when it coils up like that. So we'll wait to see where that news is coming from. SoFi still not doing anything. Nvidia is pushing down again. So I think if we're going to go short anything in the space, we did have weakness, maybe a little bit in Intel. We talked about their strength yesterday. Although Nvidia is moving up and down, AMD is kind of just moving sideways. So this would be a name to look at here potentially for a break short. But look at the 200 period. It's really absorbed that 215. So, a little bit of a move back into that area maybe gets me long again. So
I got to throw this up.
Yeah.
I think we missed this completely because I see it twice
for
PayPal. Super chat. Oscar, apologies, but I see this doubled up. So you might have sent 2 super chats about PayPal. What do you guys think about PayPal long term? Has there been a worse fintech company this year performance-wise? No, this is an honest question.
Maybe Webull, I don't know.
I could chat.
Webull's new.
I could chat GPT this, or actually, I'd probably use Gemini, not ChatGPT. I'm just keeping it real. But if there is, I'm not sure about it. I don't know what sets them apart, and I don't know what catalyst gets them going again at this point. I'm not really sure what that's going to be for PayPal. All of that said, it is getting pretty close to, hey, this has been a ridiculous bottom in the mid-50s. So, I mean, if you're going to go long somewhere, going all the way back to February of 2024, then you have July of the same year, double bottom. Then you have, of course, the Liberation Day hold was right about that same level, and it's going right back into that same price. So why not? I mean, if you like it, I can't think of a good reason. I'm not buying this stock, but if you're just looking for like a bounce trade or something, this has been, I guess, the place to go. I just don't know what's going to set them apart. Like, everyone's way more excited about the all-in-one nature of Robinhood, and now you got SoFi. The competition's heavy. Heck, a firm has been performing. It's not good if a firm is performing way better than you. Like, the market's been telling you something. Like, and maybe it's the specificity of a firm whose chart is neglecting to show how impressive relatively it's been, but probably zoomed out too far. Better. Impressive is not the right word. Better is the right word. But certainly a better looking daily chart, even with like a firm. Hey, look at the range bound trade in a firm. That's pretty good. Look at it hold. I didn't even know this, but in firm, look at that hold with a 200 period moving average. Heck, a firm is a breakout through 80 next year, everybody. Look at that. See, out of dumb luck. Sorry about PayPal. Maybe you can buy off that level, but a firm breaking out 80 to begin next year could be a fun trade that I'd be much more interested in. But yeah, I guess PayPal, you could do worse than the levels you're at. Just not sure, and always willing to be convinced. I don't own the stock, and I never have. It's not like I'm searching for reasons to buy it, but I just can't think of what is going to differentiate them at this point to catch that bit outside of the levels on the daily chart. So good luck, Oscar. Thank you for the super chat. All right, so we bounced back into VWAP on silver. It was initially a short, but yesterday was, once it held VWAP, it was actually really good to the long side. And if you look at it the day before, it was holding underneath. So the down day, it was holding underneath VWAP. For now, it's bouncing off the volume weighted average price. So I'll look to play some bounces. And hopefully we'll carry this and it can bounce into some of these highs going into lunchtime. Of course I can remain. And I'll do that in a quick little second. But the other thing that I wanted was to wait for DJT to set up a short. Now, will it? I don't know. But it did just put in a lower high again. So there's a couple of lower highs and get rid of this trend line because it didn't work. I don't need to jogging that up. But now you're underneath that VWAP. So I'm going to look to enter here as you're putting in these lower highs. DJT with the token news. Yeah, whatever. They're issuing a token. I guess the advantages will be some discounts, I suppose, on Truth Social and that kind of stuff. But every shareholder is going to get a token. Is the news on DJT? It's up 4%, but I'm looking for the fade every time.
Am I supposed to do that, Ramin? Oh, Neil, okay.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
So here's the interesting thing. I was just talking about DJT. Let's say you're trading DJT, and you're like, well, I don't have any strategies for this stock. I want to test out every single possible indicator that I want. I want to pull up a 5-second chart, which I'm showing you live right now. I want to pull up the level 2, maybe even. I'm not going to. I have AVAV up here, but you want to pull up all of these things. eSignal is a platform that allows you to do that. It allows you to backtest strategies. Now, the 5 seconds not going crazy, but you had a pretty good trend earlier. Look at it respect a 50-period moving average on a 5-second chart. You can test those things out with eSignal, and the best thing about it, the first month is free. So if you want a professional trading platform, if you want to be able to have access to reliable quotes and reliable data, then eSignal is for you. It's an entitlement-based platform, so you can add and subtract what you need and what you don't need. If you don't want to look at, say, the Nasdaq or in only New York, then heck, you're allowed to do that too. I don't know why, but you could if you wanted to. So the opportunity is there, and it's 1 month free. Again, trade smarter, not harder. Do so with eSignal. Check out that 1 month free. Scan the QR code you see out in front of you. We use it all the time. Primarily, I like the 5-second charts, especially at the open on those IPOs. There's no price history. All you really have is what's happening in the micro, and I use it for my rapid fire outs. Like when this stock, let's use DJT for an example. When I see this happening, on a 5-second, if this was an IPO and we have that long from the open, and I see a candle like that, I'm just selling. And then I see another candle like that, I'm just selling into it. Like the big red candle on a 5-second chart, boom, hit the sell, offer enter when we're long. And it's worked out pretty well. I find that I'm getting less like really bad outs. That's the best way to put it, where I'm like, why am I selling at that level? And then it looks really bad before or after the fact. But I like that 5-second chart. You have to add things to your repertoire, and there's not much to go off of when an IPO's been open for like 30 seconds. So you almost have to use those charts. Yeah,
you got to do something with all of that. All right, Nvidia making the move. We already got into that one. I want to say that Sidu is squeezing right now. SIDU, Sidious Space, up to 330 and change right now. Goes Sidious. So there it goes, man. Nice little bump up there. It's got 10% in the last couple minutes. A nice move there from $3 break higher. There it goes. Boom. Great little look on the daily chart, man. I mean, they already had their offering. Now they're starting to go back up to the upside. And we talked about space and what that could mean moving forward into 2026. I think it's going to be a relatively hot sector, so no surprise here as SIDU continues to march a little bit higher. Yeah, I hope everyone has a great New Year's, and we're on all day, man. The market does not stop today. It does not. It goes all the way till 4 o'clock, at which point we will be here. Yeah, half of Europe is out of there. Nvidia is making a move back, but we do have Adara back over the desk at 1040.
This should be pretty brief, guys. As Sean said, very little strength to find in this market. Even energy minerals, which has kind of been a lone bright spot over the last few days, is bright red today. Consumer non-durables really weak, though Nike, of course, to the upside after CEO Elliott Hill buying roughly $1 million worth of the company's shares. Health tech red, consumer services red, producer manufacturing red, finance red, retail trade red, tech services very weak. Electronic tech, though, is a couple bright spots, including Nvidia, Intel, and AMD. This does seem to be a, chip play, though other chip names like Qualcomm and Broadcom are to the downside. And then some of these memory plays, including Micron, sharply to the downside. So very mixed bag here in the tech sector. All these other sectors, save communications, are generally going to be weak today as well. Back to you.
Yeah, and there goes silver back through VWAP. So it bounced a couple of times, but the short actually much better than the long here today off some of those highs. I'll probably look to, if there's even a trade during lunchtime, I think it's going to be flipping back into the short side of the trade. That was the bias, but it was trending up. I didn't short it till it broke the trend, but now look at it. Now you're seeing that it's not the rollover that it did in the afternoon yesterday, but it was a similar kind of hammer when it lost that support, unfortunately for SLV. Not looking good for them at all. I know you mentioned Sidu. 25% and still going. I guess it's not that big of a surprise. Sometimes when you do an offering, obviously an offering is not positive for a stock, but if it's received well, like if the stock like immediately the day after gets bought back up, and then after that holds some of those gains, and then again holds those gains, sometimes that can be a pretty good sign, at least for the momentum side. Like the shorts that would have been like, oh, this is going to be good for us, we can load back into the short. They're burned if they shorted into that bounce after any kind of an offering, and now they're getting really pressed on Sidu. But it is at that top at 340. So I would hesitate to be like a breakout trade in a day like today is not my cup of tea. Like I almost be more inclined if you catch a reversion on that for a scalp trade. But good look on Sidu, as that is up 26%. See, sometimes an offering isn't all bad.
No, someone said they had a couple offerings there. So.
Well, they had two?
Yeah, that's what someone said. I remember the one from last week. So. I mean, they got to offer, right? They got to fund.
That's what you got to do. The stock
ASTS.
goes up. You got to make.
Yeah, I mean, here's ASTS Mobile.
I just think it's kind of jokes they did two recently.
Yeah. I get it. I don't know. ASTS Mobile, they had that launch there, successful launch into India with one of their programs, and they're still down off of that as well, as we had some nice moves. And back in, trying to play the space, we think that SpaceX is going to be coming later on this year, hopefully anyways, is what some of the rumors were. I'm not sure it's going to come through, but if it does, that should spike some interest in Rocket Lab and ASTS as well. So RKLB, another name to look at if it's something that you're interested in. And I own this just by owning ARKQ. Was that the right one? Yeah, Autonomous. I bought a little bit of this the other day as well, off of the robotics sort of news, and it was just at like 108 or 109. It's not like it's up huge, but this was off that sort of Donald Trump talk there about robotics. So Teslas are almost all the way back to those levels. Yeah, let's have a look at Tesla. Is it still barcoding time as well? Wow, okay.
Big time.
This is part of why we sit here and talk about trading, and we look to talk about the day and why you want to join us every day at 8 a.m. because this is kind of what we were talking about, waiting for some, how perfect was this? Talk about waiting for a dark pool dump level there, down at 450. Like, I don't know why it would hold this, but that's twice now. You went right back into the low of the day rate. This is what I'm trying to do with NVIDIA, by the way. See if it gets back into some of these levels to buy it up. But Tesla was a perfect opportunity to do that. And so I'm just waiting. We got another piece out of NVIDIA right there. We do now hold 35% of this trade still. So we've done really well holding it. It's just on the day when I hold most of it, of course, it's not moving higher. And if it did, we'd get out. So, waiting to see if NVIDIA wants to dip down into that area as well. Is this a new halter right here? I'm just looking at our scanner. HUIZ.
Squeeze.
So Huiz is who squeeze today, 1040, but it's not halted on our system right now, I don't think. Okay, no volume. I'm not even gonna look at this one, who cares? ESHA right there is actually halted. It looks like their print is gonna go lower right now. $22 is the halt indicated area of open right now. So looks like we'll go out around 23, try to open up around 22 right now, and that should open up in a matter of 1 minute, 10:40:55. Wait for that 5 minute. This Huiz is halted a couple times, and it's not no volume there. But this is over 5 million. Well, we'll come up with about 5 million shares here on open. We can see what happens with ESHA. Getting a little note about Google. Nah, Google's just in the middle. I was getting a note about Google, but if you look over here, I don't want to talk about it and not go over it, but look, it's not, it's just doing this. So nothing going on right now with Google. And if there are any other names, I mean, we do have the stock visualizer. We are moments away, of course, from throwing over to the Midday show where they'll cover a whole bunch of stuff. But INBS, we did see that move up to 830 or so, now down to 808. Tesla here as well. There's Sidious, moves right to the top. Now, nice, man, they're purple is their color. That's pretty cool. So there it is, up 20%, and we said that made that move into 350. Micron was lower and brought to us by the chat today. Poor Tesla, man, we showed you that chart not doing anything. Silver, we've covered a little bit. Nike started to break out. DJT had a nice little short level as well, and people putting on mask over here. Is that their logo? Is like a mask? That's pretty cool.
I think we probably made that up.
5%, did we make that up? 5% right there, upside for MAS.
The irony is the day that we kind of made that run crazy, it released news after the bell. That is the irony. So it's like, obviously we're not the reason it had news, but you know, poetic justice, to put it mildly. Kind of funny.
Poetic justice. That was a good movie.
Oh man.
Tupac was actually very underrated in that film.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's so talented, actor, obviously, writer as well.
I had him. I don't even.
Lyricist.
Why did we? There was a point yesterday, and maybe someone remembers this. Why did I give my top 5 rappers of all time? I don't remember how the conversation
was it Dylon? Is that why he was in there?
That's what it was. Someone gave a super chat about it. Was a Dylon. We did talk about Dylon earlier.
Man,
it was
too
super
easy.
Chat,
too easy
about that. But I had Pocket, and I go back and forth because I had Pocket like 4, but then 3, 4, and 5 are interchangeable because I had like Talib, Pac, and then DMX as 3, 4, 5. But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, I could easily put DMX ahead of those two. The 1 and 2 are never moved for me on mine. I don't know what yours might be, but I'm 1, 2. It's Rakim and Eminem, easy, and that has never changed. But I don't know.
I've never heard of DMX up on there before.
I'm a huge DMX fan.
I would be more of a Nas than DMX, but I think all the other guys seem to be pretty good. ESHA, by the way, just opened up as well, so down to $22, and looks like it wants to bounce off of that level. So I think the open was 22. I think we nailed that with our tap there. So yeah, there it goes, $22. Now back up to 23. Now it's bouncing. So you just want to watch out. This is a dollar spread, right? So you have 22.42, 23.14. So it's going to be hard for us to say like, all right, there's a dollar in the money or not, because you got to get filled, right? And what's happening right now is a lot of traders trading in between. So when you see blue and all that, the only time that you're going to see red or green is when we're actually taking out the bid or the offer. But all these trades pretty much happening in between here. So using dark pools or whatever. Here it goes. There it goes, breaking lower. This is why it's halting so much, is because of lack of liquidity. So up 53% today, ESHA. A little bit of a bounce there in crypto, 88,000. I think this is pretty much the low as we got. Yeah, so, you know, maybe a little bit of a bounce, but if you're looking to short something, this has followed that, you know, playbook pretty good today. Netflix not moving. I wish there was more happening, guys. We already showed you that list of stocks, and it just was kind of a snooze fest a little bit. We did look at Rivian earlier as well. I thought maybe if that ever got to 20, we could have an actionable trade there. It doesn't look like that's happening there. And then we could quickly look at oil there. Let's look at the Feb. I think it should still be, what is it, January still? No, so it's February, okay. So I was wrong on that one. So let's go over to G right now on the February 26 contract and have a look. $58 right now for oil, down slightly today. We did have the oil inventories released at 10:30, and that was that sort of actionable trade there to the downside. So yeah, I could see, like with silver, we talked about that a little bit today there, you know, that potential move extending through into Jan 1 on silver. There it is. Yes, Sidious is one of the top names on that list. Silver's also there. Silver's still only down 5%. I thought maybe we could have had a more dramatic swing, but since the open, silver's flat. This is where we open, man. This is 9:30. So it is exactly flat. We did have a move up to 67 and then a push lower. If anything, maybe the short on silver, but just waiting to see.
Silver will keep going up?
I do like silver for the long term. I think silver does have some good industrial uses there as well. And then if any of this margin requirement stuff does happen with China, I think, and just sort of everything there. London bullion market, we talked about that being closed on Christmas Day. I just think silver does have an opportunity to run, as is all precious metals.
The gold-silver ratio was one thing we were talking about before, and it is very out of whack.
Yes, now it is. I think that's why the big banks are really short on silver, saying that it will revert back to the mean.
I believe it's 10:50, so we're going to go up to the desk. No. We've got a Dara. See how the old U.S. dollar is. Not really the old U.S. dollar.
Let's talk here about the U.S. dollar. Here's the daily chart. As you can see, nice little round here, trying to curl higher for the U.S. dollar. As I mentioned yesterday, DXY has some resistance overhead, also previous support from that 98.7 level, so that would be the next level to clear. Right now, trading around 98.4. Now, any news for the U.S. dollar? Of course, we did have the initial jobless claims coming out today, 199,000. That is a sub 200,000 print, and it's below estimate. So nice look there for the DXY. Let's take a look, though, at the 12-month chart for the U.S. dollar, because why not? We're at the end of the year. As you can see, DXY actually kind of basic out. If you go back to 2008, making a double bottom in 2011, trying to curl higher. Last year was a green year for the DXY, up 7%. This year, though, near 10% to the downside on the year. I want to talk as well about the FOMC minutes, which came out yesterday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Here's a recap of the Feds voted at that meeting. Again, 25% of the Fed actually voted against the rate cut. This infographic, like all of them, can be found on X at TTV Research. Basically, the minutes, a lot of them were things we already kind of knew. Fed saying, even the ones that voted in favor of the resolution to cut rates, saying that maybe it was finally balanced, quote unquote, or they could have actually voted to hold. So it seems like it was a pretty tight vote for a lot of those members. But as mentioned earlier, right now, slight uptick in the percentage of participants expecting a 25 basis point cut in January. We're at 15% now. We'll take a look here at the March rate cut. This is a bit interesting, too. We've got about 50% of participants thinking that rates are going to stay held, about 44% expecting that 25 basis point cut, and then another 6.2% expecting that we'll get to 300 to 325, which implies either 225 basis point cuts, one in January and one in March, or 150 basis point cut in March. Interesting stuff, guys. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Darren. And I think we're going to get really interested, like in January, we're going to get really interested in like the year projections for those cuts and how they shift around, because that's going to affect a lot of like themes. Like I like the space theme, but I like them a lot better if we get two or three cuts as opposed to one. Like I'm talking, there was a conversation about like ASTS and Sidu and Rocket Lab. I'd pick Rocket Lab. I think they're just a little bit more mature, not as expensive a stock as some of the others, but you're really going to want those 2 or 3 rate cuts for sure. That looks fantastic. That's a super cool shot. You can see Obi and Sharif are locked and loaded and ready to go. We can find that Mask is somehow up 6%, and Isha, whatever that real stock is, ESHA. I love that ticker. Like that, I love like,
the look. Yeah,
like it's so easy to read and follow that ticker. I think it's because of the contrast. It's
great one, man.
That looks great. On the Qs, like it's crazy.
It's
crazy that we have all red candles on the Qs and we're down 0.4%. When was the last time you saw from the open only red candles on the 15-minute and you're not even broken through the overnight low? Like that's absolutely insane. But the only thing that I'm looking to be like more active, I suppose, when things slow down here would be silver. It is now downward trending underneath VWAP. So like I said, I'm going to flip to the short side of the trade here into the volume weighted average price on silver. Just going to allow it the chance to get there. If it gets a full 30 to 40 cents underneath VWAP, so I'll let it hopefully gravitate to the upside. Oh, and we haven't even really covered Bitcoin. I just saw someone saying Bitcoin is falling. Yeah, very distinctly. It's going to stay flat. But it's also like the futures. Like it's just been only sliding to the downside. If you're looking at individual treasury plays, like BMNR has had a pretty rough couple of days here, down 1%. This could be a scalp off VWAP as well. Maybe I'll add that to the list. It's going to be silver more likely. And Junior Fuentes says, why is the market bleeding? I don't know. Like we're down 0.4%, so we're not actually bleeding.
No, it's not really that bad, is it?
Yeah, like we got good jobs numbers. Maybe with good news is bad kind of thing, or maybe it's just the market is literally at the highs off of What are we up? Nasdaq 21% on the year, less whatever this is. 17% for the ES, less whatever it's down right now. So there's just some sell pressure coming in. I don't think we're dumping. It feels a lot worse than it is because there haven't been too many upticks, I suppose would be the best way to look at it. But yeah, we're not really down all that much. Like, how many 2% days did we have in the last quarter to be freaking out about 0.4 on the Nasdaq here?
Yeah, no, silver, Nasdaq, everything. I mean, I'm still trying to fight this long as it breaks through the low of the day. We said, okay, there it goes. So there it goes. Yeah, as we said, flushing down. I think the play might have just been short, you know, straight from the jump. The minute we went down, you just say, okay, the market doesn't want to be long today. Stop trying to catch bottoms and play the short. So yeah, definitely not going to go long anymore until we at least take out some VWAP or something like that. Yo, what's up to Wayne Griffin right here? Thank you so much for that super chat. I'm just going to find it and we can put it up on the board right now. Here, I got it. Don't send it again. All right, thank you so much for this one. $50. So we say thank you for the. Glad that we're having this kind of effect on you here at Trader TV Live. Your process has improved ever since following you, and thank you for your sticky note. It keeps you focused and on track. So you are welcome there, Wayne, and thank you so much for all of that. And yeah, hopefully you keep the money in the bags in your little wheelbarrow there as the market is, if you're long.
Hopefully not an actual wheelbarrow.
Yeah, it's been tough for that one, but thank you, Wayne, for that. Yeah, especially with the wind. You know, is that what you just said?
Well, I mean, it's probably safer under a mattress than in a wheelbarrow.
Yes.
Like in a wheelbarrow, I mean, A, it's going to tip over. B, it's easy for people to reach in and grab it. And when you're running like that, just from a balance standpoint, it's just not very stable.
Did we cover this 20 memberships as well? This is just this farm trader. Thank you so much, man.
No, we did not.
At $5 each, man, that's 100 right there. We want to thank you for that one, dropping down that, man, $100 right there with 20 memberships. You guys could even more than that, right? You guys can get in there and grab one of those as well. So there it goes, man. Thank you so much, Byron. Sean is a living legend. Yeah, hopefully that's very nice of you, but I don't think so. David, we already had that Let's Go last day of the year, but thank you so much, Farm Trader, for all of that, man. And then Wayne, obviously, I forgot to say thumbs up to that. So thank you so much for that as well. But yeah, 10:57, just a couple more minutes left. And, you know, be us, then them, then back to us. And we'll wrap it up on New Year's Eve as we have a full, complete day. The market is open until 4 o'clock, and tomorrow completely closed.
It is completely closed tomorrow, but if you want to trade in 2026, then better to trade on someone else's dime than yours. Trade the Pool is transforming how you can access the markets. Get rid of that fear of losing, everybody, and have enough capital that it actually matters. The limited risk trading model allows you to use funded capital with Trade the Pool absorbing the downside. So you can focus on your discipline, consistency, and growth, like Wayne was just saying in our chat.
Wayne.
And when you hit the profit target, you keep 70% of those profits. No fear of barriers, just a real opportunity. Scan the QR code out in front of you, or visit tradethepool.com, and you can grab 10% off your first evaluation. Want to thank them. We had Mitch on yesterday. Want to thank Mitch. And in the New York course, I think we'll probably have Steve on Friday for the first trading day of the year on Friday.
He always comes through.
Shout out to him. And before we'll just have a couple of minutes to go. I just saw Zion, of course. Everybody have a blessed year, but it's not done yet. I know it seems like it should be. Some people would say a half day, but it is a full day. You get the full day of the midday like normal. We'll be back at the close. We got some, we'll have some fun at the close. So I don't want to get too much into spoiling surprise, but we're going to have a little bit of fun at the close, and we hope you guys stay tuned all day long. Volumes might be low, but there are some moves happening for sure. No questions asked. So I'm seeing potential bounce, an erosion in silver, and I just saw someone say Palantir is making a bounce. That's not that distinct. My eyes are in maybe a couple of places. One is VWAP on AMD, another one is VWAP on silver. And yeah, I'm gonna look for the fade off of both those levels. AMD starting to break down. Now into the red goes AMD. You know, like what a difference that makes. AMD was blowing it out this morning, and now it's gonna look incredibly weak. Go figure. Yeah,
no, I was with you on trying to go long some of these tech names, chip names, but yeah, Nvidia. I'll just just because I'm looking for something to do, I'll just reload something in and around here now on Nvidia because it's at the low of the day. I still am waiting for a 188 break to potentially, you know, get involved on that move rather than the latter. So we'll wait to see if that does come through. But yeah, thank you to everybody. It's been a great year. We're looking forward to having even a bigger one. We told you all year that, you know, we were doing these adjustments to this set and everything, and you guys, you know, stuck with us. So we want to say thank you for doing all of that as well. But all right, so Nvidia again trying to go. We'll wait for that. I mean, we got stopped out on the TQs trade, which is honestly, we're going to be down on it today on the futures, but we were able to play the back, you know, a couple times on the way back up, and eventually getting stopped out there on that break lower. So yeah, some things happening now in the market that's, you know, uncontrollable move to the downside on low volume. There's not much else going on. SOAPA, these guys will be talking about it. Obi's in the spot you saw on the camera there. Sharif's obviously here as well. And they're going to take us into the midday show. So Neil and I back at 2 p.m. I'm going to throw to Adara now before the midday. Is that what we want to do, Fabian?
Yeah, we got
Okay, let's do that. All right, Neil and I are back. We'll see you guys at 2 p.m. Ciao for now. Let's kick it over to Adara.
Breaking news on Uber, which just spiked lower. UBR reportedly considering a deal to acquire parking app Spot Hero. So the information reporting that Uber is considering buying this parking app called Spot Hero, UBER. A little bit of a spike here on that as we send you over to the midday, I believe.